Missouri and South Carolina meeting for the 15th time in the game's days only second top 25 showdown. Number 23 Mizzou and number 21 South Carolina, both running down a dream. And the Gamecocks still with a chance to make it to the college football playoff. Have been in every game this season, and the losses have only come to some of the nation's best. Shane Beamer's squad primed to take the field on this Saturday afternoon and try to end what is a 5-game losing streak. The Tigers from the other Columbia. 2001, an odyssey indeed. And for this afternoon shot, South Carolina ready to take the field in front of another fantastic crowd here at Williams-Brice Stadium. Cocky's ready, and so are the Gamecocks. One of the day's best matchups in college football, and two teams that are still holding on to that opportunity to make it to the playoff. Here comes South Carolina. Gamecocks running on the field, both teams aiming for the postseason, trying to run down a dream. Back, enjoy. This is SEC football from South Carolina. Herrera has the ball on a tee. Marquise Johnson set to return from Mizzou. We are underway from Soda City. Short kickoff. Johnson from the 4. Weaves through traffic before getting taken down at the 23-yard line. And it's the return of Brady Cook, who's had to work through multiple injuries over the course of this season. It was an ankle injury that cost him most of the Auburn game, but a return to lead Missouri to a comeback victory. And then a wrist injury against Alabama. Senior from St. Louis out of Chaminade High School. He's got Nate Noel, one of the best running backs in the league, behind him. And he's got a first-time starter at center in Drake Heismeyer. Noel on first down finds plenty of space, and Missouri had a schedule before the tackle by Debo Williams.
Yeah, this is going to be huge for Missouri, having Nate Noel back and closer to 100%. They're hoping to get around 15 carries out of him tonight. Last week, working his way back, wasn't quite 100%. Man, when he is healthy, he's got juice, and he makes this offense go.
On 2nd and 4, Cook wanting to throw, and he finds his tight end, Brett Norfleet. Good open field tackle, but that is right at the marker. Well, here's how Brady Cook was injured. It occurred in the Alabama game in the first quarter on a rollout on that injured ankle to the right side. Got taken down and fell on his wrist. The reps have been limited, but Eli Drinkwitz tells us pregame he took enough reps during practice this week to be ready to go. And a decision that truly wasn't made until late last night. Josh Manning in motion. Play action, little boot. Cook stays on his feet in a pump fake to run and steps out of bounds just short of the marker on a 9-yard scramble.
Well, you're already starting to see the effect of a healthy Nate Noel. That outside zone stretch play, they love to boot off it. And when you have a good defensive front like South Carolina has a great one, you want to get them moving sideline to sideline. A lot of misdirection. So already twice now getting Brady Cook outside the pocket, away from Dylan Stewart, away from Kyle Kennard as much as possible.
2 tight ends to the right side, Norfleet and Jordan Harris. And they'll both shift in tandem. Theo Weiss was a hero against Oklahoma. He's lined up top of the formation. Cook looking for Weiss over the middle. Caught for a Missouri first down. Down to the Carolina 35. That's a gain of 23.
Boy, something to keep an eye on the protection all night. Look at the job by Membu, the right tackle here, working on Dylan Stewart. Great job. Look at that pocket. I mean, that is a huge, clean pocket for Brady Cook to stand and deliver. A lot of talk about the wrist injury, but that ankle was a bad injury against Auburn. So him not having a lot of noise around him and having a clean pocket, really important for that downfield passing attack for Missouri tonight.
Opening drive for Missouri. Tigers have won 5 straight against South Carolina. Luther Burden in motion. Back to the ground game, and Noel gets tripped up after picking up 2.5. T.J. Sanders, one of those very talented defensive tackles, in on the stop for Carolina.
And that's the thing with this defensive front. I just mentioned Stewart and Kennard. They get a lot of attention, but when you give too much attention to those guys, you forget about T.J. Sanders, Tonka Hemingway, Alex Huntley. The interior of this defensive line is also absolutely elite.
Even from the Missouri coaches, Kirby Moore said, we're going to do everything to protect our ball carriers against those defensive ends. We will chip, we will get creative, we will double team them. Pocket holds, Cook delivers against the zone, and he fits it in to Joshua Manning, sophomore out of Lee Summit outside of Kansas City.
As you just mentioned, Tom, going to try to chip these defensive ends. Watch Nate Noel heading to the right side of your screen. Going to help out Armand Member with a little full slab right there to the ribs.
Back to the ground game again, and a big hit and a noisy one on Nate Noel from Demetrius Knight.
Offense looks a little different, doesn't it, than what we saw last week with Drew Pine. I think what you're seeing is attacking the middle of the field. Right, Drew Pine, his height 5'10", they really stayed away from attacking the middle of the field because the offensive line seeing over the middle of the field, tough for Drew Pine. That's where Brady Cook thrives, attacking the middle, getting guys in space with the ability to run. Already a couple times targeting the middle of the field and having success.
Cook 6'2". Committed to Missouri his sophomore year of high school in the St. Louis area. 2nd down 9. He was a Tiger through and through. Grew up a Missouri football fan. On the ground. Noel fights for a couple. Debo Williams another stop, and that's going to leave 3rd and the crowd to deal with here.
And Kirby Moore's got to be thinking protection over concept. How do I protect Brady Cook here first? And then what's the best concept to attack this defense? But you got to take care of Dylan Stewart and Kyle Kennard here on 3rd and long. And look how wide Dylan Stewart is rushing on Membu, the right tackle, a matchup we've already seen a couple times tonight.
Stewart, the nation's freshman sack leader. And they come up the middle. Cook gets rid of it a little low and incomplete. Theo Weiss thought he got his hands underneath it and wants everybody to take a second look. The Tigers will bring out the kicking team.
Yeah, I love the play call, getting the ball out quick, neutralize that good front. Ball just a little low.
Did he get his hand under?
It's close. This will be a good look. I think he might have an argument.
Instead, it leaves a 38-yard attempt for Blake Craig. He's 8th in the country in field goals per game, but inconsistent. And he splits the uprights on Missouri's first possession, and the Tigers put together a lengthy drive behind the play of Brady Cook. Meanwhile, for South Carolina, this is a program under Shane Beamer that has had its heart broken numerous times against premier opponents over the course of this season. Now, if you look at how their numbers stack up. 6-3 overall. They're top 25 in the rankings. That strength of schedule is elite. And that one win against a top 25 team came against Texas A&M, and that was a dominating win to counter heartbreakers against both Alabama and LSU.
It just shows you how close this team is to being smack dab in the middle of a college football playoff conversation, not just on the outside looking in. That LSU loss still lingers. A couple questionable calls late in that. Lenore Sellers didn't play in the second half. Man, this is a team that's peaking at the right time.
Fair catch taken by South Carolina. And here is Lenore Sellers, who's really turned his season around. He was mistake prone and turnover prone through the first 5 games or so of the year. Second-year freshman out of Florence, South Carolina. Look at the difference in the last 3 games.
I mean, it's amazing. He's really developing within the pocket. Footwork, timing, throwing on rhythm, protecting the football, as you see there. We knew the athleticism and the skill set, the size was always there. And that's really bought him some time to develop as a quarterback. We're really starting to see Dow Loggins and Lenore Sellers hit their stride here late in the season.
A couple games ago against A&M, he rushed for a career-high 106. Missouri rushes forward with a spy, and they deliver on time over the middle. The Joshua Simon pass midfield. And there's the cost of a running quarterback with extra eyes on Sellers. It's a pickup of 30.
Yeah, 2 guys take Rocket Sanders out of the backfield. No one left for Joshua Simon. And really, he's been such a bright spot. I know Cole talks about him being the MVP of this offense, and I might agree with him so far.
He leads them in receptions and receiving yards, and now Rocket Sanders tippy-toes to a loss of a ½ yard before being met by Christian Williams.
It's one of those guys that comes out on film as a football player. He doesn't struggle with anything. He offers physicality, run after the catch. He can separate when he runs routes. And today's day and age, you get a tight end that's willing to mix it up, trade paint, you're happy with that.
Talking with Missouri defensive coordinator Corey Batoon about South Carolina's size and athleticism, and again, nothing for Sanders. He said their bigs are athletic and they create tough matchups. Well, the ground game has been stymied on the last couple of touches for Rocket Sanders, and now South Carolina looking at 3rd and 10.
Yeah, and this is where they want to stay out of these obvious 3rd long passing situations. Run game going to be super important as the game progresses here.
And Sanders coming up back-to-back 100-yard games. Sellers has plenty of time, and he fits it in for a South Carolina first down to Gage Larvidan. Gain of 14.
Wow, it's just a great route by Larvidan. He's got a little bit of what we call a down corner. He's going to fake a seam, bend it back out to the outside, creates a leverage issue for the secondary Mizzou, and a great pickup on a 3rd and long for Lenore Sellers.
2 completions for 66 yards for Sellers so far. Here comes pressure from Missouri. Sanders sneaks by it and picks up 4. Rocket Sanders is dangerous in a lot of different ways. Back-to-back 100-yard games. He's also an elite receiver out of the backfield.
And this is so important for this matchup specifically, just because Missouri has dominated the line of scrimmage the last 3 times that they've played. South Carolina's got to get this run game going to be successful here against a really good Missouri defense.
That was Simon in motion. Sellers got wide open, and it's hauled in by Nick Harbor for a 26-yard strike. Just his 2nd touchdown of the season for the big speedster Nick Harbor. There goes 6'5", 235, and is a legit track star. And that caps a 97-yard drive. Pardon me, a 75-yard drive. And here's Herrera. South Carolina answers. We might be primed for a shootout today.
And just a busted coverage by Missouri. They're going to bring a cat corner, a corner blitz here, and the safety Marvin Burks is going to have to roll over. Here comes the corner. Burks is going to have to roll over to pick up this vertical, but he doesn't. He goes down, gets his eyes caught in the backfield, and nobody there for Nick Harbor down the sideline, and a big answer by South Carolina.
3 huge completions for Sellers and the Cox on top.
SEC Network Football is presented by the all-new Sonic Queso Smashers. Live free, eat Sonic. And in part by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet. Get internet how you want it.
Well, this has been an interesting and hyper-competitive series since Missouri joined the SEC, but really even before that when Brad Smith keyed a huge comeback in the Independence Bowl 20 years ago. Fair catch asked for in the end zone by Marquise Johnson. And Shane Beamer was up front. He said they just kicked our butts in everything. He's looking for his first win against the Tigers and Eli Drinkwitz. So here's Brady Cook. And it's got to be helpful to have veteran leadership. That wrist heavily taped, but especially playing on the road in the SEC in this environment. He's 4th in program history in yards. He's 5th in program history in passing touchdowns. And he's got a direct traffic with Joshua Manning. Now he cuts him loose. Cook fits it outside, but Noel loses his footing. And Cole, a huge task for Missouri today. Drake Heismeyer, the 5th-year senior out of Francis Howell outside of St. Louis, is making his first start of his career.
It's never difficult to make your first start because, as Jordan and I can both attest to, the snaps are just different live. When you're going outside zone, it's a little bit wider. The ball's going to be short. You're going short yardage, the ball's going to get back there a little bit more quickly. You've got too much juice on a shotgun snap, but he's a veteran. He's been around, Tom, and he's going to have to use that part of his game to survive this environment.
2nd and 11. Room off right tackle for Nate Noel. And he's shoved out of bounds after picking up the first down by Nick Emmanwori. It's a gain of 17. How do you as a quarterback try to make things easier for a guy, even though he's a veteran who doesn't have a whole lot of snaps under his belt at center?
We always try to confirm every protection, every mic point. You want to double check or say what you think if you're Brady Cook. But the problem is, as we saw right there, South Carolina is stunting and stemming late. So they moved their defensive line right before the snap there. So sometimes things change within a half a second of that snap, and you just got to play on the fly.
Heismeyer played 25 snaps in relief in the Oklahoma comeback. And again, the ground game providing some yardage. That's Noel one more time.
Tom, I'll tell you one other way that they can really help this young man change up the snap count. See, here we go. Go a little bit of tempo. The South Carolina D-line's been caught multiple times this year standing around.
On 2nd and 3. First down run by Nate Noel. Eli Drinkwitz telling us that it's helpful to have a healthy Nate Noel back from a foot injury, that there are things that Missouri can do with Noel at running back that the other guys just simply don't provide.
Well, it's the outside zone. It's the stretch play that's so difficult for an athletic and dominant defensive front. You make them go east to west. Marcus Carroll's a good running back, but that's not his forte. They've gotten away from the outside zone a little bit the last week or two. Now you can already see about 5 or 6 times already tonight.
This time straight ahead. Noel had 10 carries in the Oklahoma win. What a game that was last Saturday night at Faurot Field. Back and forth.
It was a snoozer for about a little over 3 quarters, and then it just erupted in the 4th quarter.
It was 9-3 at half.
Like a snoozer. It wasn't. I mean, it was a good game, but it was.
Was it though? The first half.
Trying to be nice.
A Tom Amansky video. It was not. Marcus Carroll now in at running back. Cook checks at the line. Play action on 2nd and 6. Cook flushed. kept his footing, and he delivers a strike down the sideline, and Theo Weiss spins for a couple of more. That's a 22-yard gain.
Yeah, Drake Heismeyer here, we mentioned first start. He's going to come a little too anxious. As you see, center right here is going to come a little too anxious here on the slide protection, the three-man slide. Open up a hole there. Good thing Brady Cook mobile enough to make a play outside the pocket and find Theo Weiss. That's going to happen. They're going to make a couple mistakes early. That's why it's great having a mobile veteran quarterback like Brady that doesn't panic under pressure.
Meanwhile, injured player for South Carolina, Demetrius Knight, who started his career at Georgia Tech, then spent a season at Charlotte. He had 7 tackles in a Vanderbilt win last week, game that South Carolina pulled away in the second half. And double-figure tackles against both A&M and Oklahoma. Cole, great visit with Demetrius this week.
He is, I'm going to go ahead and call him the most interesting man in the SEC. A guy who calls himself old-fashioned, and when you ask him about why, he says, well, listen to Sinatra, I like museums, and said, hold on. Museums? Okay, let's test this out. What was the last museum you went to? He said, oh, a couple months ago, Charleston, they had this dinosaur exhibit. I'm like, man, he's not lying. He actually loves museums. I talked to his beautiful wife today as well, and she said, no, he's a history buff, loves his history, loves to go to Savannah because of all the history and all the museums they have there.
So 1st and 10 for Missouri, and Marcus Carroll bottled up on the edge, taken down for a 2-yard loss. Jalen Kilgore and company.
Now Bam Martin-Scott, just as Demetrius Knight goes down with that injury, saw him walk off. There's a really good linebacker. 22 coming flying off the edge there.
The stunt got him there, Jordan. Dylan Stewart slanted inside. That didn't allow them to work that slip double team up to the linebacker. Had a free run at the tailback.
Stunt is a habit for this Gamecock team. 2nd and 11 for Brady Cook. Good hands by Luther Burden. But only gets a few. Debo Williams and O'Donnell Fortune all over him. 3rd down.
And Luther Burden's really happy having Brady Cook healthier and back in the lineup. He's been a little silent the last couple weeks. One of the best players in the entire country. #3 overall wide receiver, according to Mel Kiper. They're going to need him here on 3rd down. Kirby Moore loves to move Luther Burden, especially on 3rd downs, to try to create leverage and opportunity for him. He's starting in the slot.
Longest touchdown drive of his career.
Right there.
Burden without a score of the last 5 games. On 3rd and 6, Cook goes the end zone. It is batted away. Theo Weiss Jr. draped by Judge Collier.
Well, Luther Burden was bracketed there in the slot. So Brady Cook takes the one-on-one matchup to Theo Weiss, who had the big-time toe-tapping, game-tying catch just like this last week against Oklahoma. But Judge Collier all over that great position and not able to come back to the ball. Collier did a good job, but last second there getting his head around. If he doesn't get his head around there, probably a pass interference call.
Blake Craig has already made from this same distance another 37-yard attempt. This one from the left hash. And he is perfect. Tigers have had to settle for a couple of field goals on their first 2 possessions. Eli Drinkwood's team looking for their 6th straight win against Carolina.
Dory Noka in studio. It is time for Expert Moves, brought to you by Principal. And how about this expert move from the Auburn freshman receiver Cam Coleman? One-hands it in a rout of Louisiana Monroe. He had 8 catches for 100 yards and 3 scores. Tommy?
A good day on the Plains. Meanwhile, Texas survived against Arkansas earlier today, 20-10. Ewers threw for $176 and a couple of tutties. Todd Jordan Cole, what a perfect afternoon for football here in the mid-state. Blake Craig puts it in the air. And once again, no return for South Carolina. Let's talk about this week's secret recipe, brought to you by Bush's Grill and Beans.
Yeah, we've already seen Lenoris Sellers complete a couple big-time passes. I've been impressed with his feet and how he's developed within the pocket, how he aligns his feet to his target, so he's accurate. He's playing on time in rhythm, and this is a no-wasted moment movement throw. No hitch, no reset. Ball is on time, accurate. If he resets or shuffles or hesitates there, that ball's probably broken up or an interception. He has been so good from within the pocket. From where he started the beginning of this year to where he is now is night and day different.
Carolina with a score on its opening drive that leads the SEC with 4 of them. And Sellers throws this one out of bounds. Corey Flagg was putting some pressure on him.
I give a lot of credit to Dow Loggins and how he's really reshaped this entire offense. You know, last year with Spencer Rattler, they were a drop-back, pass-happy, pro-style system. This year, he's really designed this offense around Lenoris' skill set, his mobility, but also now his ability to develop and win from within the pocket. It was interesting talking about just the background that he kind of delved into to form this unique scheme around Lenoris.
Well, he's got plenty of binders to pull. 16 years in the NFL, 7 as an OC. Down the sideline, an incomplete, little hand fighting. Here's the flag. And that'll be a first down as Missouri tried to slow down Nick Harbor. Joseph Charleston was matched up. Pardon me, that was
carries an automatic.
Drayden Norwood. Yeah, Corey Batoon, the defensive coordinator for Missouri, mentioned they know they want to take a couple shots to the big track star Nick Harbor downfield. Want to press him at the line of scrimmage, be physical with him. That time, Drayden Norwood in good position. You just got to get the hands off of Nick Harbor there, and you're in good position.
South Carolina fans know about Harbor's speed. It is elite, and you pair that with his size, and it is unthinkable. So Batoon said we got to get into him before he gets going. He's like a freight train. Back to Rocket Sanders. Sanders coming up back-to-back 100-yard rushes and 50-yard receiving games. He's the first Carolina running back to do that since they joined the SEC.
Yeah, the former Arkansas transfer. I really think he's been the most impactful transfer portal guy at any position. For what this team needed and what they got in him, especially the last couple weeks hitting his stride, that's been the difference for South Carolina, the ability to run the football this year. Last year couldn't do it at all.
And here's Sellers, who keeps it and picks up shy of 2 yards.
Man, Tom, I really thought you were going with a Ryan Brewer shout out right there on that stat.
I was getting ready to. That's further down on my notes, though. So 3rd and a long 2. Looks more like 3 to my eyes. What do you go with here?
Oh, Lenoris Sellers in his legs with a lead blocker. And Rocket Sanders is always a good option.
Oh, little option look. They weren't on the same page. Sellers just at the line, and they're going to say he was short. Tristan Newsom with the stop, excuse me. And that thing was off balance from the start. They're 4th down. They're going to send out the tight end and get a little bit bigger and go for it here.
Yeah, a little confusion there. The defensive end, who's supposed to be the free rusher, gets blocked because he goes inside. So Lenoris is thinking a quick pitch, and it's not there. Gets flushed out a little bit. Now I think you give it downhill to Rocket Sanders with a couple lead blockers.
Full house backfield. Sanders hesitated, but still got across the line. And a fresh set of downs for Carolina on this, its 2nd possession of the game.
You don't lose many of those with a 230-pound back that doesn't mind going downhill. And the way he's able to break tackles, he just starts to lean on defenses. These runs early on that maybe are a couple yards really start to get going as defenses kind of get tired of trying to bring him down.
It was an up and down career at Arkansas for Sanders. Great first year, the mediocre the second. Sellers trying to fit it in and a little high, aiming for Joshua Simon. And that leaves 2nd and 10.
Yeah, this is where the development can continue for Lenoris, getting off reads and finding that 3rd or 4th option. Watch this. He's going to try to hit this route, but watch the underneath route come wide open. When the corner's not there, if he just checks that ball down to Mazio Bennett, sitting right there, nobody's there. That's a nice pickup and probably a first down.
Larvidan was in motion. They Use a little window dressing to run it with Sanders. And that's how the quarter will come to an end. South Carolina scored on its opening possession. Missouri has scored on each of its 2 with a couple of field goals. 1 quarter in the books from Williams-Brice Stadium. Nick Harbor's got a score for South Carolina, and the Gamecocks have a 1-point lead.
When you take the ball down early, score, I know you're happy with what you've seen from your offense so far.
Yeah, doing a nice job on 3rd down. Great answer after Missouri won the toss, took the ball, and then went right down the field and scored on our defense. Great answer by our offense, converting a 3rd down. Went forward on 4th down. We've been talking all week that we got to be physical and we got to run the ball and stop the run. So I wanted to find out on 4th and 1 if we could. So nice job converting. Now we got to be able to finish this drive.
And so Lenore Sellers and South Carolina continuing what is Gamecock's 2nd drive of the game. Missouri brings pressure. Sellers trying to step away from it, and this is the danger. You rush him, you open up lanes, and Sellers takes a hit right on the sideline.
Yeah, we talk a lot about South Carolina's defensive front, but Missouri's really good too. Johnny Walker Jr. working on left tackle. Tree Babalade wins there, forces Sellers outside the pocket. And I love seeing Sellers finish these physical runs because I feel like he's smart when he does it. He gets down and avoids those hits, but on 3rd or 4th down, he'll put his shoulder down. Probably gained an extra yard there to get himself in a really short 4th down opportunity here.
Cox have already converted 1 4th down today. Got an empty backfield for Sellers.
Yeah, they're going to fake a little zone read, and I bet they're going to get Sellers right down the middle here.
And South Carolina had something wrong.
First charge timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
So Shane Beamer's got to use a timeout on 4th and 2. I wouldn't imagine he's changing his mind about whether or not to go for it, but something was off.
Think back too, guys. Eli Drinkwitz told us they would be in punt safe pretty much on every 4th down today.
Yeah.
So they don't need much to think about. They're going to be in the same thing no matter what.
These are 2 very creative minds coaching against each other, and Drink was telling us this week, it's really a cat and mouse game, because what I'm worried about in game prep is figure out what it is they want to do, and it's not always obvious.
Yeah, but right now it's pretty obvious in these short situations they want to get north and south, and they feel like they can. I mentioned this has been a matchup history where last 3 years South Carolina hasn't run the football well. So far they've been physical tonight. Let's see if they lean on it here.
Same formation. Sanders in the backfield. He went on the sweep. They want to throw it, and a pump and a go. And Lenore Sellers takes a lick. And Shane Beamer's begging for a flag. It was a 1st down run for Lenore Sellers after the pump fake.
Boy, how about 4th and short? You put the ball in your quarterback's hands, not using his legs like everybody thought. Great job by Sellers, not forcing it into coverage, using his legs to get north and south. And
there's a lot of traffic. This
yeah,
it was.
10th
play of the drive. A couple of 4th down conversions on this possession for Carolina. That was Simon in motion. Here's Sanders, and he tries to sneak his way through to find some daylight. And picks up 4. Zion Young, who was the hero for Missouri to cap the Oklahoma game of the scoop and score, in on the tackle for the Tigers.
Zion Young's been really good, right? Replacing big Darius Robinson, who was a 1st-round draft pick off this defensive front last year, the transfer from Michigan State. Not just an impact on the field, but he's slowly, maybe not even slowly, becoming one of the leaders of this team as well.
Had a great conversation with Zion this week. He made Cole laugh. Here's a run for Sanders. Tried to shake a little bit.
That's hard to do.
Well, Cole, what was your reaction? You asked Zion about South Carolina's tight end. How do you worry about Joshua Simon? He said, hurt him. It was in 2 words, hurt him.
I mean, I didn't laugh because I thought it was funny. I laughed because I liked it so much. You love to hear a guy whose physicality means that much to him and his team. But we mentioned earlier, Joshua Simon, I think he's the MVP of the South Carolina offense. One way to go after him is, he mentioned, hurt him.
Carolina looking for a 1st down on the ground, and they pick it up.
Doesn't that tell you everything you need to know about Cole? Jokes don't make him laugh, but people getting hurt or people just just hitting each other. That makes him laugh.
Cole doesn't go to comedy shows. He goes to wrestling matches to see people get hit over the head with a chair, and he laughs. Missouri's got some talent that they can rotate through on that defensive line, but they are winded at a 13th play of this drive. South Carolina has run it 10 times. Oh, big stop up first down. Oscar Attaway with his first carry turned the opposite way by Corey Flagg with 14 touchdowns. Well, it was Flagg's brother who's in on that stop, but Corey had 14 tackles, excuse me, against Oklahoma. 14 touchdowns would be a record. So Corey and Caleb Flagg got there out there at the same time for Mizzou. Attaway leaves the backfield. Sellers fakes the toss and takes it straight ahead. That leaves 3rd and 4. What did Shane say this week about why this series hasn't gone Carolina's way over the last handful of seasons? He said, well, quite frankly, they just kicked our butts. Missouri was more physical. You mentioned the rushing success that the Tigers have had. And now Shane Beamer's team is returning the favor. This is an old school smash mouth drive. 15th play of the drive, and 12 of them have been runs, and that will set up another 4th and short. Christian Williams on the stop for Missouri.
Yeah, that looked like a no, you're going to go for it call right there,
right.
Jordan, on 4th down.
Yeah, let's see if we can cut this to 1 or 2. Now, again, last time they were in this 4th and short situation, they threw the football. I think this time it's going to be Rocket Sanders going downhill. But I guess with the trust Loggins has in Sellers, you never know.
Sanders bounces back, tries to find the edge, and gets cut down short of the first down. Christian Williams was the first man there. And Missouri's defensive line comes in and cleans it up.
Christian Williams there after a big 4th down stop. It was all him working on right guard Torricelli Simpkins. Watch this penetration right here. Right where Rocket Sanders wants to go, just blows Simpkins right back into him. Unbelievable individual effort there.
So 2 for 3 on 4th downs that drive. Nate Noel finds the edge, and he's got a Missouri first down. A pickup of 12 on first down. Last week against Oklahoma, Drew Pine got the start, and he was 3 for 3 through the air in the first quarter for -4 yards. Brady Cook first quarter today, 62 yards through the air on a 6 of 8 start.
Yeah, more of a limited playbook with Drew Pine, right? They went back to some Notre Dame stuff to try to plug in the entire playbook, and their bread and butter is all back in now with Brady Cook.
Weiss and Burden were the stars on that game-winning drive for Missouri, game-tying drive. Cook trying to fit it in against the grain to Theo Weiss Jr. and nothing doing.
So those are going to be the toughest throws for Brady Cook, because that right ankle is what you're pushing off, throwing to the right. Happened against Alabama too. I did that game a couple times, rolling out to the right, shorted throws, just because you don't have the same push that you're used to running in that direction. Working on that bum right ankle, trying to throw back across his body. You just lose a little bit of your lower body power.
Mobility was severely limited in that game at Alabama. Missouri got blown out in that contest as Pine finished it off. One-arm tackle on the edge to take down Nate Noel. Ryan Thomas there for Carolina. And Mizzou left with a 3rd down. Tigers have scored on each of their first 2 possessions. But Missouri is 0 for 2 on 3rd down today.
Gotta find 3 at some point, don't you?
Burden's been targeted once. He has 1 catch. He's in the slot, top of the formation inside the numbers. Cook with a check. Clock at 8, 7, 6. Here comes pressure and a whistle and a stoppage before Cook could execute.
False start on the offense, number 69. The Cowboys penalty, and it remains 3rd down.
Well, this is where things get ramped up, Cole. First start, it comes on the road in front of 88,000.
Yeah, he just flinched just a little bit. I saw it. It's so easy to try to get a little bit of a head start and then no, it's not time to necessarily snap the football. Viewers at home are going to hear this crowd going. The thing he has to understand, Tom, it's on his command. When he snaps the ball, that's when the play starts.
The tap comes from the left guard, and another whistle. And movement again on Missouri.
False start on the offense, number 1. That is a 5-yard penalty, and it remains third down.
That time it was the wide receiver, Joshua Manning. Now 3rd and 17. Third and long in the SEC is not a place for the meek. Carolina brings 4. They almost get to him. Cook against the grain. Here's Burden. Change of direction. Another U-turn on Eugene. And Burden runs into traffic. McCary Swain with the stop, and South Carolina forces a punt.
Well, that was a really good job by T.J. Sanders. Missouri trying to set up a screen.
For South Carolina, number 15 is now number 47. 15 is 47.
But T.J. Sanders didn't even get touched, so Brady Cook didn't have the time to get the ball off. He gets it out of his hands earlier. He actually had a pretty good looking play.
Luke Bauer to punt it away. Juju McDowell is the Carolina return man. Not a good punt. It makes it across midfield, but South Carolina's going to have good field position midway through the second quarter after that 31-yard punt. Is 10-4 with 4 wins against ranked opponents. And why is this one so important? Carolina's odds to make the college football playoff remain in play if they win out. And they got Wofford next and Clemson, which came from behind on the road at Pitt today with a Kate Klubnik QB draw.
I mean, slim chance, but still, the committee has already proven that they like looking at how you lose. More so than the games that you've won.
And who you've lost to.
And who you've lost to. And South Carolina has 2. You call them good losses. I hate that we look at that, but LSU and Bama.
Sellers drops deep. Lost the football, but regained it. Whoa, he has been walking a tightrope with ball security all season. Looked like he'd cleaned it up mostly.
Yeah, Johnny Walker Jr. working on the right side this time on Cason Henry. And if there's not pressure there, Nick Harbor is wide open on a deep over route right where Sellers was looking. That would have been another big play downfield. But Johnny Walker, and he'll move. He's been on the left side getting pressure on Sellers, then on the right side, they move him all over.
It's the first sack allowed by Carolina in 3 games after they allowed 32 in their first 7 games. High and intercepted. It's Norwood with the gift, and Missouri's going to have an opportunity. Norwood up the hashes and inside the 30. Sellers throws his 5th pick of the season, and Missouri looks to regain momentum.
Just mentioned Johnny Walker Jr. this time, instead of rushing on the outside, he's going to rush on the inside and gets just enough color in the face of Sellers, I think. Not directly in front of him, but just enough that ball sails a little bit. Sometimes as a quarterback, you see color flash right in front of your face. It throws off your timing. And even subconsciously, that ball comes out a little bit higher, and that time with a wide open receiver just sailed it.
Missouri had 4 takeaways last Saturday night in Columbia, the other Columbia against Oklahoma.
Remember, Gal Loggins told us at the Oklahoma game, Tom, at halftime, that was one of the things that Lenore Sellers had been struggling with. The weight distribution sometimes forces the ball to sail on it.
So Brady Cook, as Sellers goes to the iPad to try and figure it out. Cook going for the end zone. It is tipped and incomplete. Marquise Johnson Johnson, the intended receiver. Collier slow to get up after defending it.
A big collision there in the end zone. Collier does a great job of reading Brady Cook's eyes the whole way. Little double post concept from a formation into the boundary. Collier had the big pass breakup in the end zone on the other side of the field on the jump ball to Theo Weiss. Having a really good game so far. You hate to see him go down on another good play.
Athletic training staff tending to Judge Collier, who's a South Carolina native out of York County, South Carolina. He decided on Carolina when he was visiting for the big upset against Tennessee in 2022. He was so excited to rush the field that he took off his Jordans. He handed them to his mom and he rushed the field in his socks. Dane Beamer will check on the sophomore cornerback now. They've already had Ricari Swain, a redshirt freshman, out there. So they'll get a little bit younger in the backfield now as they take Collier's helmet from him.
Here's the end there. Collier making a play on the ball. Just a big collision in the air with Marquise Johnson. It was a really good job reading the eyes because it's going to be a double post concept. We used to call this topper. One post here, another post on the outside, and Collier sitting there just going to read the eyes of Brady Cook. Really good job of seeing he's going the outside post, breaking on it, getting his hands up, trying to meet the ball because it was an accurate throw from Cook.
Topper is what I called our producer Bill Palladino with all of his stories at Hall's Chop House last night.
You know why they call it topper? Two-piece, double post. There you go.
Now we learned something.
I thought it was because you were in Athens this morning.
At the incompletion, 2nd and 10. Cook delivers on time. It's Luther Burden. One of the top recruits in Missouri history. He's taken that inbounds, and that'll set up 3rd down. Going into the student section, and keep an eye on first-year starter at center, Drake Heismeyer.
And keep an eye on Kyle Kennard. Just checked back into the game with fresh legs. Going to be working on left tackle Marcus Bryant. Let's see if they use Jamal Roberts to help chip on Kyle Kennard to give Brady Cook a little extra time. You see Roberts there to the left.
Meanwhile, Mitchell Walters is filling in at left guard. Caden Green not in the game for Missouri. On a 4-man rush. Cook taken down. Another sack for Carolina. 3rd in the country. Ooh, they jumped the hammer with T.J. Sanders.
Boy, watch this. They're going to chip on Kyle Kennard, give extra time, but then that means T.J. Sanders is one-on-one. Watch Jamal Roberts here. He's going to come off and chip on Kyle Kennard, but this right here is the one-on-one matchup. T.J. Sanders, because the double is outside, great job swatting the hands there of Mitchell Walters and making a big play. We said that to start the game. Anytime you give more attention to those outside guys, you leave the really talented inside guys one-on-one.
So Blake Craig from 49 after the sack. Missouri trying to cash in on the interception, and a sidewinder ends up short. Carolina needed its defense to step up after Sellers gave it away, and boy did they. Craig had already made a pair of field goals from inside 40. The sack pushed him back deeper, and this one ends up hooking left and short. Empty possession for the Tigers. SEC football presented by Sonic. What a scene tonight at Williams-Brice Stadium. Hey, they got your Halloween outfit.
How'd you know? We were supposed to dress up together.
I missed the memo. Sellers gets rid of it. Tamazio Bennett makes a first man miss and then takes it for a Carolina first down on a pick of the 13.
Boy, good to have Mazio Bennett, the true freshman, back in the lineup. He's a little banged up going into last week and then took a throw off his thumb and got hurt in pregame, so didn't play last week. Their leading receiver and really good in space, as you can see right there.
And a touchdown on a big 4th and 9 in that Alabama game. A sweep and a shake by Jared Brown, and he finds a first down and the sideline, but a flag. 3 of them coming in. There's no question on this penalty.
I think they might have missed a block in the back to start that play too.
Everybody but Cole threw a flag.
Holding on the offense, number 8. A 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the spot of the foul with a replay of first down.
First flag against South Carolina tonight. It goes against Nick Harbor.
Yeah, just a little hold on the perimeter. Like I said, I think they missed a block in the back to start that, so it might have been a little bit of a makeup call. Nope, there's Harbor. There he is.
Just keep circling.
Yeah,
You'll find him.
I'll find him eventually. You see that first block, I think was in the back, and then
take your pick.
Yeah, just like my circles.
1st and 9 now. Bennett with the orbit motion. Sellers looking deep and checks down to Bennett. No gain. Well, Lenore Sellers on that last possession recovered his own fumble before he threw the pick. I was talking with Dow Loggins, the offensive coordinator of Carolina, before the game, and I said, how did you guys clean this up? And one of the ways they've done it is showing him tape of all quarterback turnovers. Not his own necessarily, but hey, these are the mistakes others are making. He's still a very young quarterback, and there are a lot of reps that he does not yet have when it comes to ball protection. Here's Rocket Sanders to the logo. Only 3rd and 4. Sellers started perfect, 3 for 3. Just 2 for 5 since with that pick. And that pick came on the overthrow. And Cole mentioned sometimes those mechanics Al Loggins told us about get Sellers out of whack. Pressure coming up the middle. Sellers has man coverage. It is caught. Nick Harbor down to the 5. 43-yard gain. He's 6'5", 235 with elite speed.
And they love to take these shot plays. Just a slot fade working on Dalen Carnell, the safety. And if you don't get hands on him at the line of scrimmage, nobody's going to catch him. He's an elite track speed kind of guy, a 10-100 meter. And Sellers put it in the perfect spot there for Nick Harbor.
We're at the 2-minute timeout. South Carolina looking to extend its lead. Shane Beamer and company fired up. Sellers back in his rhythm. Final 2 minutes of the first half after this. No, you're too busy with your alliteration, and I, for one, Dari, certainly appreciate that. Lights are off for the moment here at Williams-Brice Stadium, which could get rocking with the best of them. Here we go. Somebody flipped the switch now. Thought maybe Darude was going to pop out of the stands for a second. The South Carolina offense has really found its rhythm over the last handful of games. They blew out Texas A&M, and they did it by running right through that vaunted A&M defense. The hosts have missed tackles on both Sellers and Sanders in that game. They also took advantage of finding the edge against that front 4. It's 1st and goal for South Carolina from the 6-yard line. Rocket Sanders in the backfield. Sellers, pop pass, end zone, touchdown, South Carolina, Joshua Simon. Second touchdown for Sellers in the air.
Watch the effect that this motion has with Rocket Sanders on Corey Flagg right here. He's going to be the guy that should pick up Joshua Simon, the tight end, but his eyes are all over Rocket Sanders and possibly a Lenore Sellers run, and Simon slips right behind him. Great play design for the touchdown.
Simon says Carolina extends its lead. His team leading 6th touchdown of the season and his 5th over the last 4 games. Best among SEC tight ends. Well, Missouri is used to coming from behind. It was a back and forth affair last Saturday night in front of a sellout crowd at Faurot Field. One that Missouri was able to capitalize on by getting a late score. We saw back-to-back scooping scores. Marquise Johnson back to receive for the Tigers. And no return. And that was a win that they pulled off without Brady Cook at center. Drew Pine told us, I was coming off my worst game. It turned into one I'll never forget. This is the win probability chart. It was all Oklahoma late. It was about a minute to play.
That kind of looks like my heart rate monitor during the 4th quarter as well. It was all over the place. Problem is, yes, they're good at coming from behind. They got a great record in 1-score games. Missouri's built for this. But South Carolina on the defensive front is as well. And anytime you're in obvious passing situations, that South Carolina defense is bread and butter.
Hemingway up front. And here's a run for Nate Noel. Scampers out of bounds. Stops the clock with 1:50.
Yeah, Missouri still all 3 of their timeouts. So like I said, you don't want to get into a pass-happy situation versus this South Carolina defense. You can still run the football. Minute 50 left. All 3 timeouts. You want to have a sense of urgency, but this isn't a full-out, full-court press type of 2-minute drill.
Burden and Weiss, the leading receivers, in a tandem on the left side of the formation. Norfleet at the wing. He's the lead blocker, and a couple more for Noel. Tonka Hemingway in on the stop. And South Carolina takes the timeout.
Timeout, South Carolina. This is their 2nd charge timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout. Timer, please reset the game clock to 1:45. 1:45.
Oh, we mentioned how slim the chances are for either one of these teams to make the college football playoff, but the math is mathing. It says there's still a chance. Missouri 7-2 overall. Strength of schedule is higher than 8 teams in the top 12, but they're 0-2 with blowout losses at A&M and Alabama.
Yeah, and you said the math is mathing. I mean, statistically speaking, Missouri still has a chance to go to the SEC championship. I mean, that's how crazy this college football season is and could get crazy over the last couple of weeks. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. But if they do win out, the probability, at least you're saying there's an opportunity.
And then you can make it to Atlanta. You don't have to worry about at large. You have a chance to win an automatic. At Mississippi State and Starkville, and then Arkansas at home. Mizzou 0 for 4 on 3rd down tonight. Cook looking for Noel on the wheel route. Goes underneath, and nothing doing to Theo Weiss Jr. It's a gain of only 1.
Timeout, South Carolina.
Carolina stops the clock again. Man, what a swing here for Carolina. They're going to get the ball back with 90 seconds to play. They found rhythm on that long drive, and they have a chance to drop another hammer.
And a great job of clock management there by Shane Beamer, because I want to say that drive only started with like a minute 58. So 15, 18 seconds left or something came off the clock there. So still a ton of time for the South Carolina offense to try to extend this lead before half.
Now remember, South Carolina will get the ball to start the second half, but Shane Beamer is playing aggressively and can sense this South Carolina team, which came into the week as a 2-touchdown favorite against Missouri, with question marks around the Tigers starting quarterback. Luke Bauer did not have a good punt last time. Barely cleared 30 yards. Juju McDowell stands at his own 25. Much better from Bauer. And a fair catch taken at the 22. 46-yard punt. So I said this before Jackson Arnold coughed it up late in the fourth quarter last week. For Lenore Sellers and his propensity to giving it up, you stay aggressive, or is there any concern here of a turnover?
Well, I think you stay aggressive with a certain category of play calls. Play calls where he has one or two options, not play calls where he has three or four, because that's when, as a quarterback, your eyes start to move through your progression. You maybe start to force one late. That's what you don't want. So these type of plays should be 1 to 2 reads, and if nothing's there, take off and run.
4 picks in his first 4 games, and tonight his first pick over the last 4. Sellers with touch, and that's a first down to midfield for Josh Simon. Gain of 28.
It's a great job. Same play they ran earlier in the game, and Lenore's forced this corner out when it wasn't open, wide open this time to Simon. And a great ball. And like I said, great play call. That's a split field read.
Stepped out of bounds at the plus 48, not the minus 48. It'll be first down.
So Dow Loggins was able to control Lenore Sellers' eyes there. He had a 1 to 2 read. If the corner's not there, come down to the running back. If that's not there, run. So great play call and a great pickup there.
That accuracy on the move is where he's grown the most, in my mind, Jordan.
And that was a concern for Corey Batoon of Missouri, saying when he is able to get out of the pocket, all of his throws become changeups. Pressure from the edge. On time, and the hit was on time as well. Completion to Mazio Bennett. Carolina will hold its timeout. 13 completions of 20 yards plus. It's the best in the country when it leaves the pocket. 4-man rush this time with a spy and another touch pass as he flips it to Bennett. That's a South Carolina first down.
Again, another great play call, right? The outlet then comes to the eyes. It's just a high-low read to the boundary. If that's not there, take off and run, and his check down was right in front of his face.
Seems fairly simple, huh? Clock rolling again after the spot. Under a minute to play before the half. Sellers backtracking. Throws it up for grabs, and it's incomplete. Charleston thought he had a play on it. Last game's hero Zion Young had pressure on Sellers. And I see Georgia tonight, the only other top 25 showdown in college football today.
Well, I was in Athens this morning. They are ready for that game, to say the least. Kirby Smart was as focused as I've seen and as loose as I've seen, which
he was very loose.
Might be a good thing.
The swing to Jared Brown, elite speed, and Brown takes it to the house. 38-yard catch and run. And the first score of the season for the former Chanticleer out of Coastal Carolina. Lenore Sellers looking good. 11 of 15, 209, 3 touchdowns in this first half, and that was a quick drive, less than a minute to find pay dirt. Alex Herrera for the point after. And it's good.
Just a little slip screen. Get your playmaker the ball in space. There's 2 blocks I want you to pay attention to. The first is going to be by tight end Josh Simon. He's going to come across the formation in motion. He's going to get the first block. So he's going to come this way. That's going to be the first block. Now Vershawn Lee is going to end up being almost 20 yards downfield working on Marvin Burks. And that's going to be the block that ends up springing this for a touchdown. Look at the big boy. 6'4", 315 getting downfield. Just getting a piece of Marvin Burks there to spring Jared Brown for the touchdown.
Well, he went to Freedom High School in Northern Virginia, so he probably said, follow me to Freedom.
And this is the version of Jared Brown that this offense has been looking for since he transferred from Coastal Carolina. Last year, he was 4th in the entire country in yards after the catch. He's 9th on the team this year, so just hasn't been able to find success with the ball in his hands in space that time. That's the Jared Brown South Carolina fans expected to see.
Plenty of sandstorm tonight. No return for Missouri. Brady Cook 9 of 13 for 70 yards. He's been sacked once.
When South Carolina just executed the last minute and a half to perfection with the timeouts to get the ball back, scoring the touchdown. They're going to get it after half here as well. So Missouri, they got all 3 timeouts in 39 seconds. If this first play can get a little positive momentum, you can start to try to get yourself maybe in field goal position. Let's try to make this a little closer before half.
We got weapons like Burden and Weiss. Cook rolls the pocket and dirts it at Norfleet.
Honestly, probably better that that one was incomplete. Again, though, rolling to his right, pushing off that bad angle, or excuse me, bad ankle. He's been low twice now on that type of throw. Love to see them try to attack the middle of the field. Going to get zone coverage, probably some form of too high zone coverage. Vacancy's going to be right down the middle.
Jamal Roberts is the running back. Play clock at 8. 5. And with 1. Cook. Long throw to the sideline and a beautiful route by Weiss, who found just enough separation working against the freshman Swain.
Love this as well. Right, just a back shoulder to your big target on the outside. It's a great throw by Brady Cook right on the back hip, and a great late adjustment by Theo Weiss.
Weiss 6'2", 210, started his career at Oklahoma. That's why the 2 touchdowns last week against the Sooners meant so much to him. Cook flicks it out, and Roberts has his first touch of the game. Out of bounds, 24 seconds left. Cole, what's the best way for Missouri to protect Brady Cook if you want to take a shot here with that front 4 for Carolina?
Not slide protection. You got to get a chip. You get a tight end, maybe widen out. So I like putting those tight ends next to your tackles because that widens the surface a little bit more. It makes those defensive ends think that their track's got to be different to get to the quarterback.
He's got Weiss matched up with the freshman Swain again, bottom of the formation. Looking that way. The slant, and Weiss turns it around. He already had the first down, and so forward progress will stop the clock after Nicky Manwuri came in to clean it up. We'll reset the chains, 15 seconds left.
Timeout, Missouri. This is their first charge timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout. Timer, please reset the game clock to 17 seconds.
So Missouri will get a couple more ticks on the clock before this half comes to an end.
Oh, pretty effective 24 seconds for this abbreviated 2-minute drive for Missouri here. You're probably 8 yards, 8, 9 yards away from where you'd want to be. We saw the last field goal come out a little sideways, come up short. So maybe even want to get more like 10 or 12 yards here to feel comfortable about a field goal closer to that 30-yard line.
Coming up at the half, you can watch a live performance of South Carolina's Mighty Sound of the Southeast on SEC Network Plus. Start streaming now on the ESPN app.
Sure looks like you're going to get some form of man coverage here. Luther Burden right there in the slot. Now they're going to drop out in the zone. He's got a lot of space, though.
EQ Smith is the man in front of him. Cook flushed, off balance, finds Norfleet, who gets stuck short of the first down. And there's an extra flag. Cameron Johnson came in to try to defend his tight end. We'll see if South Carolina got caught. It was Email Worry who was in on the stop of Norfleet.
Not sure if they're talking about possibly looking at targeting.
You think
not.
you saw it possibly?
I mean, it was a bang bang and a defenseless receiver. If someone comes from outside his vision, sometimes they take a look at it. I think that's probably what they're talking about. E-Man Worry's going, man, I was leading with my shoulder.
That would be costly. Here's Lee Hedrick.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit on the offense number 74. The play ended short of the line to gain. After enforcement, it will be second down. There was a charge timeout by Missouri. This will be their second of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout. Due to the timeout, there is no 10-second runoff for the foul.
Yeah, it's just going to be a little push on Cameron Johnson. Right after the hit here, E-Man Worry's going to pop up, and Johnson's going to run downfield, and he didn't like that little extra bump from E-Man Worry on his tight end, Brett Norfleet. I don't know if that's a...
When did we turn into soccer? You know, like we got a flop after a little left hand. E-Man Worry, by the way, was in at the end of a couple of plays. He is an emotional player, and he is their leader. Leading tackler, one of the best pickoff artists in the league. Way out of field goal range now after the personal foul penalty. 2nd and 16.
Got a one-on-one down here at the bottom.
Cook looking that way. Come back high and incomplete. Trying to find Weiss. 8 seconds remaining.
And that one just came out of Brady Cook's hands. Little wobbly, sailed on him.
He's not happy with it.
No, and now if you catch the ball here, this is where the in-helmet communication can help. Kirby Moore's got to remind Brady Cook to tell everybody, if you catch it, you got to get down. Only 8 seconds on the clock, so they can use one of those timeouts. If they're still trying to get in field goal range here, need about 15.
39-yard line is the career long for Craig. And he fits it in to Mekhi Miller.
That's kind of what you needed.
Timer, please reset the game clock to 4 seconds. Timeout, Missouri.
Tom, you mentioned that 39-yard line would be a career long. They're a couple yards closer than that, but last kick did come out a little sideways and a little short. So Blake Craig needs to shake that one off and put a good leg on this.
His long is 56. This will be from 55. He's tied for 3rd in Missouri history.
As a catch, that play is now under video review.
With 4 50-yard field goals with Jeff Jackie. And they're going to make sure this was indeed a catch by Mekhi Miller. Well, Shane Beamer and South Carolina have used the clock to perfection in this first half.
Oh, kind of similar to that one earlier with Theo Weiss, where that ball is going to touch the ground. It's going to be, does he have firm and continuous control here, or does the ground aid in that reception? Beamer, he's waving like he thinks that should be incomplete as they show it here in the stadium. I mean, I don't think the ball was moving when it hit the ground, but it also didn't look like that control was very firm as he kind of had it pinned with his forearms. I think that one might be incomplete.
Well, and to be clear, it can hit the ground. You just can't use the ground to aid in the catch.
That that would mean a field goal is off the table as they'd be back to, what, around the 50-yard line or so.
Missouri's covered 39 yards in 35 seconds to this point.
That kind of ricochets off his chest, and I think that one is going to be coming back.
What have you seen from Brady Cook tonight?
But he just looks poised. He looks in command of what's going on in the offense, but he also doesn't look 100%. I mentioned that ball coming out a little wobbly, a little high. Those are throws that Brady always hits. That one right before this one to Theo Weiss. And again, that fracture on his wrist and his arm. You see the padding on his right wrist there. The ball's just coming out not quite as clean. His command and decision making is right where it needs to be, but probably not making the type of throws he's used to.
I would guess that his reps were limited
After
this week.
review,
Yes.
it is an incomplete pass. The ball hit the ground before possession was gained.
Eli Drinkwitz.
Missouri will be given their timeout back. They will have one remaining due to being called for video review.
Eli told us that he'd taken some reps this week, but obviously as a veteran you don't have to take a ton. But I would imagine then the touch in the passing game may be a bit off after being generally idle the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and you wonder here if because of that wrist injury, does he have the arm strength that he's used to be able to get it to the end zone here for a Hail Mary. They're in this formation, what we used to call rebound, where three guys at the top, they're all going to run down, and you're just going to toss it up into the end zone. But
this is their final charge timeout of the half, and this will be a
maybe that's what they're going to talk about right now. If it's not a Hail Mary, is it a, get a guy on a crossing route, maybe a lateral? Do you want to lateral it, being close to half and give South Carolina the opportunity to pick it up and run it back? I mean, maybe you just play it safe here instead of trying to huck one to the end zone. Not sure if your quarterback can make that throw not being 100% healthy.
And Cole, you're severely limited in what you can do against that front four for South Carolina, because they've shown third in the country in sacks. They don't have to bring extra rushers to get to the quarterback.
That's the problem with this group, Tom. You can do it with three, most likely, because all you really want to do is just force the quarterback to move a little bit. But with this group, it's not just running by the pocket, but this play that takes a little bit longer, they can retrack and find the quarterback as well.
Kirby Moore is Missouri's offensive coordinator.
And see the formation change. I don't think they're going to chuck it up at a Hail Mary anymore. I think they're going to try to get a quick throw and see if they can make something happen. See if he can break a tackle or two.
Carolina's gone a little lighter on the defensive line. Brian Thomas at one end, and Kyle Kennard at the other. Carolina rushes only three. Here comes the fourth. Cook lost it and lost it again, and that's how the half will come to an end. And it seems there's some rust in the game for Brady Cook, and that wrist may have precluded him from keeping the football.
Yes, he's flipping the ball, trying to find the side that you like. I've done that a million times as a quarterback, but with that hurt wrist, maybe doesn't have the same strength that he's used to holding on to the ball. And lucky to just get out of there with possession of the football and into half.
Cole with Eli.
Coach Drinkwitz, how can you help Brady Cook be a little bit more successful in the second half?
Yeah, we got to convert some third downs right there. I mean, we're 0 for 3 on 4-point plays in the red zone, and that's really the difference in the game. We'll settle down on the second half. You got to get better tackling.
You've won 2 games trailing at the half of this season. You know your team's demeanor. Do you have to even address that in the locker room?
Yeah, we just got to make some adjustments out here, come out confident in the second half. First drive of the second half is going to be really important for our defense.
Thanks, Coach.
MIC.
As he mentioned, Carolina will get the ball in the second half, but the Tigers is 1 for 7 on third downs in the first half. Gamecocks with a 21-6 lead, plenty to catch you up to date with. Two teams that have their eye on the college football playoff. One of only 2 top 25 showdowns in college football today. And all South Carolina in the first half, what has turned into The best half of football Lenore Sellers has played. He's already set a career high with 3 touchdown passes.
Yeah, it started fast with the explosive plays against one of the best pass defenses in the entire country, but they blow a coverage, and Nick Harbor goes wide open down the middle, down the sideline. Lenore Sellers find him, and then it's been the run game, slowly chipping away at this defense. Eyes are starting to get in the back of the backfield, and those play action passes are really starting to hit behind that second level for South Carolina.
So your point being the Rocket Sanders effectiveness is what's opened things up.
Yeah, we talked about how important it would be for South Carolina to run the football in this matchup, something they haven't done well over the last couple years against Missouri. And there haven't been big runs by South Carolina, but there's been 3 or 4 yards and 5 yards here. Now the play action's really starting to hit for this passing attack.
And you can see the complete offensive attack from Dow Loggins and Shane Beamer, and then able to take advantage towards the end of the half and keeping Missouri, by the way, with a big sack from taking advantage after the lone turnover. Cole, you talked with Shane Beamer at the half. What'd you hear?
Tom, you just mentioned it, said we got to get the run game going in the second half. Loves how Lenore Sellers has played. Also said, and none of us expected to hear this about this Gamecock football team, got to find a way to get a little bit of pass rush going in the second half. But it makes sense. He said a lot of tight ends stand, a lot of 6-7 man protections. Have to find a way around that and be able to affect the quarterback.
Well, or you can be Mike Tyson. You can just dance around for 8 rounds and see how it turns out. However, you would think that with Missouri being down a couple of starters on the offensive line, the body blows are going to start landing for South Carolina's defensive front.
Yeah, and I think they will, right? They've been close a couple times. Just Missouri did a really good job of getting the ball out of Brady Cook's hands quickly when the pass rush was coming.
Sellers with the check down, and here's Rocket Sanders. Right at the marker. Did you see a yard short? Look, more of Mike Tyson than you hoped to see last night?
Yeah, it was a full moon. That's for sure.
It's actually waning Gibbous tonight.
Oh,
only
okay.
98%. However,
that's weird because last night it was full.
it can come on you quickly, let me tell you. 2nd and 1 for Sellers. A little dance and enough for the first down. It was interesting talking with Dow Loggins before the game about college football in general, but Lenore Sellers specifically. He said, you know, it happens so quickly. We anoint these young quarterbacks without realizing from the general public that they need reps to improve. And you're going to be, if you're moving in the right direction, a better quarterback and a better offense later in the year than you are at the beginning. But so many rushes to judgment, we don't really allow for that growth. A slip for Simon, and then a hurdle, and he carries it all the way down past the 45. And that's a South Carolina first down.
Boy, how good have Joshua Simon and Rocket Sanders been in the passing game, right? This is a wide receiver group for South Carolina that kind of underperformed. Obviously, we've seen some big plays tonight from Jared Brown and Nick Harbor, but they've leaned on Rocket Sanders and Josh Simon out of the backfield, and already early in this second half delivering from those two.
Yeah, the previous 2 games, the wide receivers have totaled 12 catches. Sanders, another slip, and Missouri having a hard time bringing the ball carrier down. A Rocket Sanders who finishes his workout with a little yoga late at night. Shows some nice moves and flexibility to get past it.
Well, at 230, watch this little jump cut right here. I mean, the athleticism he has, and it was fun talking to him about how his first year at Arkansas, he actually first time running out to the practice field was going to go out to the wide receivers.
Yeah,
and Sam Pittman went, no, why don't you go try the running backs first? And you know, the rest is history. But he's been a weapon with the ball in his hands, whether it's from Lenore Sellers through the air or just getting downhill like we're used to seeing.
He said, I went with the running backs in the team drills, and then we watched film later and said, you're staying here. Sellers, man coverage, throws it away. Harbor covered by the freshman Nicholas Deloach.
You wonder if this is a situation here where this Missouri defense needs to start creating some urgency, and if Corey Batoon, the defense coordinator, needs to dial up some of the pressure. That was something that was such a staple of them last year. They led the SEC in blitz percentage. This year, much less reliant on the blitz, just 7th in the SEC at right around 29%. But I'd be surprised if they start to dial it up a little bit here to stop the run and put some pressure on Sellers.
That pressure has resulted in 20 sacks. It is 13 behind Carolina coming into this game. There's Rocket Sanders again. been a reset for Rocket Sanders in his career. He's got the C on the jersey as a captain of the South Carolina team after a couple of years at Arkansas. And he's doing stuff that running backs haven't done, not just in South Carolina, but in college football. 3rd down 7 now. Sellers heads Simon, didn't pull the trigger, comes back to the near side and scrambles out of bounds. And that is shy of the 1st down.
How many times have I said the name of Johnny Walker tonight on 3rd downs? This time not rushing off the edge. They're just going to stunt him all the way across the line of scrimmage here. And he's going to be that first guy that gets pressure on Lenoir Sellers. Again, not getting anything in the stat column, but he's the reason that that play broke down. And they're forced a 4th down here.
South Carolina has converted 2 of 3 4th downs. It all came on one drive, which is a 7.5-minute drive that ended up scoreless when they turned it over on downs. 4th and 4 to throw. Sellers too much and no flag. Trying to find Simon. So another turnover on downs for South Carolina. And with 11:06 to go in the 3rd quarter, Missouri will have possession, trying to mount a comeback as they did just last week against Oklahoma. Well, South Carolina brings pressure unlike anybody else, and that's the focus of Cole's Read and React. It's the hottest show in cable television every Monday night, Cole.
Clayton White does an amazing job of designing things defensively, and it always doesn't have to be glamorous blitz schemes with different linebackers or DBs coming out of different places. Sometimes it can just be the design of the defensive lineman. So you're going to get the edge pressure. Guard's going to be covered up, but it's the nose guard here that's going to occupy the center. When he goes away, that's going to leave the left guard one-on-one with TJ Sanders. He hits the bombada, gets to Brady Cook, and gets that sack. The edge pressure is great. But covering up the nose, something he told us he had to do in this game, and that's what frees up the one-on-one on the left guard.
And by the way, that's a backup left guard, and Mitchell Walters filling in for OU transfer Caden Green. So 1st and 10 for Brady Cook in Missouri. Nate Noel behind Cook in the pistol. Here's Noel. And he powers to a gain of 4. Is that all you're reading and reacting to?
I just thought you guys might want to take a look at Kerry Lindella right here in this outfit. Sorry, I had to get that. Kerry. Yes.
That is amazing.
I was wondering where my boots went.
I was wondering where my boa went.
You're welcome.
And you can see her on Broadway. Second and 5. I think she was at Hall's last night. She was the entree. Wide open, and Theo Weiss nearly stripped away, but Weiss gang tackle, picks up the 1st down. Weiss would have been fine staying with his original direction, but thought the defender was past him and turned right into the tackle.
Yeah, it's going to be really important for Missouri to get Nate Noel going. We mentioned Eli Drinkwitz told us this week when we talked to him, hoping to get around 15 carries out of him. Already 13 for 69, averaging over 5 yards a pop. He looks healthy. Doesn't look like he's slowing down at all. So I'd lean into that. See if he can't get some positivity and some tempo going here on this opening drive for Missouri.
Well, like Cole pointed out, left guard Caden Green back in there now. Here's Burton trying to make something happen on the sweep. And he gets stood up. That was a very physical run for Luther Burden to pick up almost 5.
That's one of the reasons this Kirby Moore offense is so fun to watch. Just so much pre-snap movement, so much motion and misdirection. That time getting Luther Burden involved.
Well, Kirby Moore comes by it honestly. Comes from a football family. His dad, Tom, fantastic high school coach in the Pacific Northwest. Brother offensive coordinator in the NFL after being a record-setting quarterback at Boise State, where Kirby was one of his wide receivers. Play clock at 1. They get it off, and on the right side, there's a 1st down run. Nate Noel loses his footing trying to cut back across the field. But a big chunk play, 23 yards for Noel.
Yeah, there's that outside zone, and Armand Membu, right tackle, is going to get a great block, and actually another one picks off a couple South Carolina defenders, starting with Dylan Stewart and then Demetrius Knight to spring Nate Noel on that outside zone play. So important for them to get that going because it sets up their entire play action, their boot game.
Tied for the longest play of the night for Missouri with the Theo Weiss catch. You want Lacey in at tailback. Cook has to leave the pocket. And he launches it down the sideline and finds a cheerleader. Tonka Hemingway is trying to truck him down.
Yeah, just really good coverage downfield by South Carolina on that one. The initial pass rush was stymied. Just nobody open downfield, so Brady had to buy some time there. I think that's also what kind of gets lost in the mix for the South Carolina defense with so much attention on their front four. They got three really good linebackers. I mentioned Demetrius Knight, Debo Williams, Ban Martin Scott, but on the back end they're really good as well. Clayton White's got a complete defense.
He's drawn up more pressure this year. Here's the swing to the freshman Lacey, and Lacey gets around the edge and dives for a Mizzou first down.
Lacey, one of these talented true freshmen, probably has the most juice, maybe outside Nate Noel. Limited in what they're able to do with him, but they want to try a couple times a game to at least get the ball in his hands. And right there actually does a great job of setting up that block, get north and south, and then bouncing it, allowing those blocks to develop so we can get the edge.
Rivals had him as the 6th best running back in last year's recruiting class, coming out of Lancaster High School in Dallas. Lacey straight ahead, and the fresh legs about a gain of 7 before Jalen Kilgore comes in on the stop.
Well, I tell you what, if you ever wondered if you want to take on an inside linebacker in the SEC one-on-one, I'd watch that replay with a tight end pulling around on Debo Williams, because he'll let you know that does not look like fun.
Yeah, Brett Norfleet pulled around and met Debo Williams, and sometimes a block doesn't have to look super pretty, but watch this collision right here. Norfleet gets just enough of him.
Enough to set up the airbags.
Yeah, it's not going to be a highlight, but you got the job done.
Cook with a check on 2nd and 3. With 2 on the play clock. He was bottled up for a moment, but then Lacey squirted free to pick up the first down. And the Tigers have it 1st and goal at about the 3.
Well, showing some trust in their true freshman running back Lacey here, down in the red zone on an important drive. You think you'd want to have Nate Noel in. We talked about how he's kind of on a pitch count, already right around that 15 carry, 14 carry mark.
Tigers going to go unbalanced here. They bring Mitchell Walters in. Offensive lineman will be on the left side as a tight end. So they're balancing strong left.
Yeah, extra O-lineman right there.
With 1 on the clock. Straight ahead for Lacey. And the entire pile picks up a yard. Less than a yard.
Brady Cook kind of just motioned to the sideline, like, let's go, let's hurry up. I think he wants these plays in a little quicker so he can have a chance to look at what the defense is and make an adjustment if he needs to. It's a veteran quarterback, and Kirby Moore wants to allow him to do as much as possible at the line of scrimmage, but that means you got to get that play in early so we can get a look at the defense.
Marcus Carroll now in a running back. Second and goal. Carroll into the end zone. Touchdown Missouri. Carroll's 7th touchdown of the season. And a little strutting from Drake Heismeyer in the end zone in front of the South Carolina fans. Missouri's going to leave the offense on the field and go for 2, trying to make it a 7-point deficit. Let's go for Dos. Brought to you by Dos Equis.
these two-point plays and gotta-have-it plays are designed to get the ball to Luther Burden.
A draw. Cook hit and short. Bam Martin Scott living up to his name.
No good.
And the 6-year player came in from Dodge City Community College, comes up with a big stop on Cook.
Just no regard for his body, throwing his body down here at the goal line. And the low man wins on the goal line, and a big stop from South Carolina after a really good drive by Missouri.
Well, Siri would tell you that Florida's got a lead on LSU in the 4th quarter, a touchdown lead. What is seen here, Willie B. Fantastic home field advantage for the Gamecocks. They made an announcement while we're at break that forward progress of Brady Cook was stopped. Just as we told you before he went to break, even though the ball did break the plane and he wasn't down on the grass, forward progress had been stopped, so try was no good. Juju McDowell from the 10. Fake toss. McDowell gets some extra yardage and multiple flags come flying in. I think these guys really like to show off their arms when they're 40 yards away on a penalty. Just let it rip.
Yeah, probably need some ice after this.
During the return, holding on the receiving team, number 44. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
It's going to be 44 right here. They do call it tackle football for a reason.
Not supposed to do it like that.
Usually not when you have the ball.
Maurice Brown the second. All right, so Lenore Sellers in South Carolina and hold on to this lead. Rocket Sanders lost the football. Second down, they say Carolina recovered. That's the second time Carolina has put it on the ground and picked it back up. It was Lenore Sellers in the second quarter, and then Sanders that moment. Career high 3 touchdowns for Sellers.
Yeah, well, I mentioned just how well he's developing from within the pocket and just how well Dow Loggins has built this offense around him.
On 2nd and 9. Sellers. It's taken down. Chris McClellan with the sack for Mizzou.
Yeah, they were trying to take a shot play there to Nick Harbor, who had the DB beat. And I think they're going to get a holding. That's a jersey grab. Nick Harbor was running away from the DB.
Holding on the defense, number 12. 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the previous spot, and it carries an automatic first down.
Yeah, it's Drayden Norwood again on Nick Harbor. Right here, this is the one-on-one matchup they keep going back to. And again, if you don't get hands on Nick Harbor at the line of scrimmage, you give him some great grass. That's all you can do when he's that fast.
Well, Missouri's a press coverage team, which is why Norwood is on his belt to begin with, but it shows the physical talent of Harbor to still get separation.
He's such a long strider that if he has separation at all, 1 or 2 steps is 4 or 5 for everybody else.
The down marker had to be set for first down.
You take the sack off the board and a first down by penalty for South Carolina. Sanders maybe picked up a yard. Newsom and Norwood there.
Yeah, behind the chains now. This is what South Carolina did so good in the first half. As I mentioned, those runs weren't hitting big, but it was 3 and 4 yards, and it was setting them up in 2nd and mediums and 3rd and short. So this is a big second down here because South Carolina had all the momentum at half, doubling up there, scoring to extend the lead, getting the ball after half. But Missouri, with a stop and now a touchdown, have kind of stole the momentum back.
Short arm throw is incomplete. Pressure was in the face of Sellers.
Yeah, Sellers kind of pointed at himself there. He's going to let that one rip. Like that's what anticipation is. Sometimes your receiver's not going to be looking yet, but you let that go and trust that he's going to come out of his break. Ball should have been out. Probably would have been a completion, but Simon wasn't quite out of his break, and Sellers didn't trust it. Now it's 3rd and long.
Harbor in motion. Sellers steps away from trouble. We got Green in front of him. Trying to outrace the defender and gets shoved out of bounds after picking up the first down. Or is he just short? He is about a football short of the first down. And that'll bring up 4th and less than a yard.
Another really good pass rush by Johnny Walker Jr. And what really good closing speed by Sidney Williams to run Sellers down. He does reach the ball, but
and then Williams pointed to the official exactly where Sellers had gone out of bounds. Look at this formation, 4th and short. Inverse wishbone. Sanders taken down, and Missouri gets another stop on 4th down. Corey Flagg just submarined his way in.
There was no play prior to the snap. The previous play is under video review.
Ooh, boy. Eli Drakewich is not going to be pleased with that.
And this is actually really good push. For some reason, Rocket Sanders kind of hesitated, which made them come up short. But here's that 3rd down. As you can see, that left foot comes out of bounds. What looks like, it's a bad angle, but it looks like with the reaching the ball, that left foot's almost at the line. The ball is in front of that. You would think it would be picked up, but obviously you're going to need a better angle to be definitive about where that ball was when the left foot went out of bounds.
And what a huge momentum swing this would be. Missouri was a play away from getting the ball at the 38-yard line. Instead, that play never occurred, and South Carolina may just pick up a first down after all of this.
I tell you what, I don't know if we have a good look at it to be able to know exactly where that ball is. This one may be our best look. Can piece together, I think it's just past the 42, which would be right at about that marker.
The 38.
So, yeah, sorry, the 38. Math is mathing.
Meanwhile, Josh Simon was injured on the play. It looks like the ball was ahead of the foot.
And I think if you piece together, a couple of these looks, this one right here, again, it's got to get just past the 38. That left foot goes out of bounds just before the 38, and the ball is well ahead of it.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It's 4th down.
It must be indisputable video evidence, and there wasn't a clear angle, no matter how much Shane Beamer may plead.
See, I thought you could kind of piece together those 2 angles, knowing that his foot went out, that left foot goes out, and knowing on that angle right there was just short of the 38. Ball was just ahead. I don't know.
All right, so 4th and 1. You keep the offense on the field. You already got stoned on your last, really your last 2, even though that last play didn't count.
When I was saying, Rocket Sanders hesitated on that last 4th down. The push was there. If he just took it and ran forward, I think he easily picks it up. So that kind of gives you a little confidence that, hey, your offensive line won the battle last time you were in this situation.
The 2 they've converted, one came through the air and one came on the ground.
I tell you what, I might just sneak it here.
And Sellers under center. There's the sneak. And it's going to depend on the spot.
Boy, Corey Flagg sold out, did his best. Troy Polamalu impersonation coming over the top there, but they only needed a few inches, and Lenore Sellers is 6'3", 240. Pretty tough to stop him on that one.
And South Carolina going tempo here.
Corey Flagg does a great job of getting over the top there, and Sellers didn't move a ton.
No, he did not. South Carolina was getting ready to snap the ball immediately. But then the officials wanted to get together and discuss it.
Officials timeout for a measurement.
Well, if this is the spot, that is short.
Yeah.
You're going to bring out the chain for visual evidence, but all had to get considerably past the 38-yard line, and the nose is right on the hash of the 38. A lot on the line for these two teams. Both think they have a chance at the college football playoff. Not going to be enough. And Missouri looking for momentum with a defensive stand. And the second time they take the ball away on downs.
Just a heck of an individual effort by Corey Flagg. I mentioned the Troy Polamalu impersonation. Look at him come over the top, and he gets right on top of the shoulders or the back of the neck of Lenora Sellers and kind of stops the push. That is just a great job across the board from this Missouri defensive front. As you can see, the refs running in almost like it's right at the first down mark, and then ended up being about a yard short, about a half yard short, excuse me. Look at that.
So you're going to get a Pert Plus commercial now?
Well, one can dream, right?
Yeah, indeed.
That was just, I mean, he lands right on top of Sellers and stops all of his momentum. That was awesome.
Missouri's second half team. Shane Beamer still getting an explanation from Lee Hendrick on the sideline. Hendrick is the one that signaled first down when he came in from behind the play and likely got that from the ref-to-ref communication, even though the spot looked like a good spot short.
Well, because we saw the far side ref came in right on that line looking like that's probably who the white hat was looking at, but the near side ref was the one that spotted that. So, what I think was the correct spot.
So Beamer has gambled a couple of times on fourth down. See if Missouri can take advantage.
Change of possession. Sometimes this is a great play action shot opportunity. If Kirby Moore wants to try to capture a little bit of this momentum.
Please reset the game clock to 2:08, 2:08.
After all that, here we go. Cook over the middle. And Burden taken down immediately. Luther Burden only had 3 catches for 3 yards in the shutout loss to Alabama. A bounce back of sorts last week against Oklahoma, 55 yards receiving.
Still just haven't been able to find him downfield, right? A lot of quick stuff, some design stuff to get him the ball behind the line of scrimmage in space, but haven't been able to find him downfield. That's more been Theo Weiss, their shot guy. I'd love to see him try to dial up something for Burden.
Gotta go back to his freshman year when he's been held scoreless for this long a stretch. Big hole, Nate Noel. Demetrius Knight with the stop and a Missouri first down.
Boy, how different is this run game with a healthier Nate Noel? Just the burst he has, the vision, the cutting. Anytime he puts his foot in the ground and gets north and south, something good happens.
Cook with a check. Can communicate through the headset until 15 seconds left on the play clock. Stretch to Noel. Gets turned around by Knight.
I believe Armand Nimbo is the best right tackle. Eastern Conference, physicality a big reason why. Working on the freshman Dylan Stewart. Stretch play is going to go outside. Stewart jumps inside just a little bit and then gives up the breastplate. Good night, Sally.
Well, they ran behind their left tackle last year with Cody Shader and now going behind Membu this year.
Who's Sally?
I would go behind Membu every time I needed more than 1 yard.
So whoever is, she's asleep. Armand Membu out of Lee Summit North in Kansas City. 2nd and 5. Lake like a 1. Straight ahead. And Missouri landing some body blows now. Kilgore the stop.
That is the end of the third quarter.
College football playoff hopes hinge on the outcome of this one for both Eli Drinkwitz and Shane Beamer. We hit the 4th quarter in Columbia, South Carolina, with Missouri driving and looking at a key 3rd and short. It would take complete chaos for either one of these two programs to get in, but obviously they can't do so without a win tonight. And with the fireworks going off and the smoke on the field and Sandman blaring, it feels a little chaotic in here. Missouri wins out, and their odds better than 1 and 3 to make the 12-team playoff. And Missouri trying to get a quick snap off, and they got going early.
Please set the game clock to 15 minutes.
Like the game clock wasn't set. And Brady Cook saying you just took 6 away from him.
I mean, Nate Noel was out the gate untouched. That very well could have been a touchdown, just on an easy outside zone handoff. South Carolina will get to re-rack here on 3rd and short and try to come up with a stop.
Apologies to Virginia Tech saying Storm, not Sandman. Although Shane's heard both of them throughout his days. Nate Noel behind Cook in a fog of fireworks smoke. And this time he's bottled up, but enough for the first down. What would he like besides Membu, that Missouri offensive line, on runs like this?
Well, that ability to run the stretch play, and when it's Nate Noel, as Coach Drinkwitz told us, he makes you think it's going to go all the way outside every time he carries it. That gets that flow of the defense all the way outside the hash and the numbers, which opens up bootlegs, throwbacks, anything you want to use. Split zone, double to the tight end, the playbook just opens wide.
Tigers averaging better than 4 yards a carry. Play clock getting late. 3, 2, 1. Cook. And to use a timeout.
Timeout, Missouri. This is the first charge timeout of the half.
Into the 4th quarter, Missouri driving and threatening. Get another one on the board. You step away for this timeout. Back to Columbia in a moment.
About to snap a 5-game skid to the Tigers.
Wow, thank you, Dari. Swing out to Luther Burden. He takes it to the 11. Eman Worry with the coverage on Burden.
Again, one of those just design layups to get Luther Burden involved. You line him up in the backfield, little zone read motion, slip him into the flats.
Burden will take a play off on his 2nd and short. Eli was telling us before the Oklahoma game they really want to get him more involved as a downfield threat wide receiver wise, but had trouble doing that. Straight ahead. It's Nate Noel. And that will leave Missouri with 3rd and 1, it looks like.
Boy, how big is this, huh?
Tigers completed their first 3rd down just a moment ago. They are 1 for 7 tonight. Cook under center, Carroll behind him. Play action, looking for Norfleet. It is incomplete. Jordan Harris ended up in the front of the end zone with Norfleet in the back, and now 4th and 1. And down 9, they'll bring on the kicking team.
Boy, I like the play call. Just really good coverage by South Carolina across the board. Initially, that was designed to get Theo Weiss involved. Nothing there. Brady Cook has to move on, and a huge stop by South Carolina to force a field goal here.
It's a little bit longer than an extra point for Blake Craig. This will be a 25-yard attempt. He is 2 for 3 tonight. And a guy who missed an extra point from about this distance last week Drills it through for his third 3 of the night. It's a 6-point game, and for Eli Drinkwitz in Missouri, this is right where they want to be. Last 2 seasons, Missouri is undefeated in 1-score games, 8-0, only in the FBS. Packed house tonight at Willie B, and what a scene and what a game they've seen. South Carolina trying to snap a 5-game losing streak to Mizzou. Blake Craig has 3 field goals tonight. He'll put it in the air. Juju McDowell has had chances at returns already tonight. This one will carry into the end zone.
South Carolina's got to figure out how to get something going offensively. Just a little over 50 yards in that third quarter after being really hot to finish the first half. The explosive plays were there in the passing game in the first half for South Carolina. Really off some of those runs. They need to get Rocket Sanders going a little bit more. Start chipping away at this defense, see if they can open up some holes in the secondary once again.
Twice Shane Beamer has gone for it on 4th down and been denied. Play action. Sellers with the check down out to Bennett. And Bennett got thumped before he could get back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be a loss, maybe a yard. Corey Flagg, Drayton Norwood, and Dalen Carnell in there for Mizzou.
Yeah, see, the east to west play action doesn't have as much of effect as Rocket Sanders going downhill north and south, right? That's what's going to suck those linebackers up. Get the second and third level guys peeking in the backfield, as we saw early in the game with that touchdown down the sideline to Nick Harbor.
Good get off from the edge, but Rocket Sanders only able to get 3. Corey Flagg with the stop. But Missouri's getting some more playing time for Jalen Marshall, the little used sophomore out of Overland Park, Kansas, and his teammates are having to direct Big 95, and now he gets a breather and heads back to the sideline. 3rd down 8.
Yeah, Johnny Walker Jr. has been the one that South Carolina hasn't been able to stop on 3rd downs at the top here.
They come after him. It's a screen called, and it's blown up in the backfield. Dalen Carnell, first man there. At first blush, it looked like the perfect play call against the pressure.
Yeah, it's so good from Carnell. He's coming up in run support initially and then sees the screen. You see right there, eyes all over it, and the closing speed is what makes the difference, and that is not an easy tackle to make. So just slowing down Rocket Sanders there, allowing everybody else to rally, and Deloche finishing it off.
First punt of the night for Kai Kroger, one of the best in the country, and he gets off a good one. Checks up at the 30. It's like a Mizzou bounce for a couple of yards after a 42-yard punt. Well, Missouri was awfully quiet in the first half. A pair of field goals. Second half got things going with this run from Marcus Carroll. And then defensively, a couple of huge 4th down stops for Drinkwitz's team.
That led to the field goal. Cut this lead to 1 score. They really have the momentum, and the defensive line for South Carolina has been silent here so far in the second half. They need to start to take this game over as we're expect.
There's a run, and there's a leap and a first down for Nate Noel.
You see how many?
He's just short. Sorry, go ahead.
It's
Cole.
okay. You see how many black jerseys are front side on that play. There are 4 or 5 black jerseys to the front side of where that play initially is directed, and that's what Nate does. He makes you think that thing's going to go all the way outside that front side tackle. He can stop on a dime, get north and south, cut behind the center guard, or even the backside tackle.
Missouri full sale subs. South Carolina had a chance to counter but did not. Second and 1. Play action. Cook going deep. It is caught. A flag down on the catch by Marquise Johnson. It stands as a 48-yard gain. There's also a flag in the backfield. Johnson had the momentum-changing catch and a fake punt at Kentucky last year. You know, at the outset of that play, Nate Noel was barely in his stance. It was evident that he wasn't going to touch the ball on that play.
Yeah, but he ends up making a huge block on Kyle Kennard.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both by the defense. Pass interference on the defense number 1. That penalty is declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer with targeting on the defense number 17. That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal from the end of the run. Carries an automatic first down. The play is under video review.
Now remember, for targeting, quarterback's a defenseless player here, so it doesn't have to be crowned with the helmet. Any forcible contact to the head or neck area, and you can see Demetrius Knight comes in, gets some contact up in the helmet area of Brady Cook, and there's the pass interference. A great job by Marquise Johnson of staying focused on the ball and bringing it down, but the block by Nate Noel really made it happen. The pressure late by Knight was a blitz that was added late, but Nate Noel picking up Kyle Kennard with Marcus Bryant on the left side, or excuse me, Jordan Harris on the left side. Both those guys working on one of the best pass rushers in the entire country. That's what gave Brady Cook that half a second right before Demetrius Knight closed in.
Do you think targeting stands?
I think so, just because there's contact.
After review, there is no foul for targeting. Number 17 may remain in the game.
So what I was going to say, I do think there was contact with the helmet. He did keep his hands and arms off it, so it did give the illusion that there wasn't. But I always think they lean towards being overly cautious with quarterbacks. Definitely was forcible, but I guess the contact not significant enough with the helmet, kind of glancing together there.
Missouri's looking for its largest comeback since 2016 against Arkansas. Tigers were down 15. Got Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock. First and goal, Mizzou. Noel stops short of the goal line. Second and goal from just outside the 1. DJ Sanders to stop. Brady Cook wants to keep the tempo going and get right back on the line.
Yeah, defensive line for South Carolina just looks tired, and here they go. They're subbing out right now, bringing in some bigger bodies here for the goal line situation. Missouri's been able to get consistent push up front.
Throw an extra tight end on the right side. Cook under center. Here's Noel. And he's in. Touchdown, Missouri. And with 9:12 to go in regulation, Nate Noel hits pay dirt, and Missouri is a point after away from the lead.
You got Mitchell Walters coming over on the right side for an unbalanced extra tight end, but Cameron Johnson, the right guard, right here. That block, I think it's on Alex Huntley, one of the best defensive linemen up there. Pushed him all the way into the end zone and gave Nate Noel the pathway for a potentially go-ahead score here.
For the lead, it's Craig. 16 unanswered for Missouri. Brady Cook was a surprise starter today for Missouri. He missed the entire Oklahoma game due to injury and had to come from behind to lead him in the Auburn win. Cook stands tall, takes a hit, delivers it on time and on target. And the Tigers waste no time cashing in. Go-ahead drive. Takes just a minute 36. They got a fourth quarter lead here at South Carolina. Kickoff goes into the end zone. Meanwhile, South Carolina, on the other hand, has struggled in close games. A couple of heartbreakers this season. Cole, you seen a difference in the Missouri sideline?
Right before halftime, this sideline was dead. Not a lot of guys going around talking to one another. Now Nate Noel come down, dapping up the entire offensive line. Offensive line, Cameron Johnson, he's up, pumped up, talking a little bit of noise. Even some of the D tackles coming down, giving fives to that offensive line. A lot of energy, a lot of hype on this Missouri sideline right now.
2 comeback wins for Missouri when trailing by double digits. LSU and Bama losses for South Carolina, costly to their playoff hopes. Sellers threw 3 touchdowns in the first half, quiet in the second, and the ground game snuffed out as Rocket Sanders gets swallowed up by 7 McClellan.
Boy, McClellan and Christian Williams, 2 interior defensive linemen for Missouri, been playing really good tonight. McClellan, big body guy, dropped about 20 pounds before this season, but playing a little more twitch, but still has that same power.
Transfer from Florida. Sellers with the quarterback keeper all the way. Wow, what a run by Lenoris Sellers. That's good for a South Carolina first down.
Oh, maybe that's the boost that this offense needs. This Missouri defense made it really tough on them in the second half here, on the ground and through the air. First design quarterback run I think we've seen since, I don't know, maybe the first half, but it's been a little bit. Sometimes you just got to put it in the hands of your best player on offense. See if we can make something happen.
Here's another one. This is a quarterback draw. And Sellers scampers out of bounds. Picked up 2.
Nice job by Lenoris Sellers there, Jordan. Sorry to interrupt you there, but that's a quarterback counter with the in man on the line of scrimmage, squeezing that thing really tight. He had nowhere to go, and lucky for him, bounce it outside, has enough speed to be able to pick up a few yards.
Yeah, great little read. You can interrupt me whenever you want, Cole. Tom, not so much.
Thank you. Wow. Johnny Walker in the face of Rocket Sanders.
Well, the stats aren't going to show it tonight. He'll get one in the tackle column for that, but he has had such an impact on this game. There's been 4 or 5 times that he's been the sole reason Lenoris Sellers has had to escape, even with something open downfield because of his pressure in the pocket. And a big run stop there from Johnny Walker.
Carolina 0 for 3 on third downs this half. Sellers runs into trouble and gets, wow, stayed on his feet. Johnny Walker got him, couldn't squeeze him, and it's delivered for a first down. Brady Hunt with his first catch. Missouri said it was incomplete. And the officials say it's a Carolina first down. What a play by Lenoris Sellers, keeping it alive.
Boy, a few times every single game, Lenoris Sellers just ends up putting a Superman cape on and bouncing off a defensive lineman, making something happen. I love the throw, too. Watch the throw. If he throws this out in front of his receiver, it might be an interception or a big blow to his tight end, puts it right on his back hip, protecting him from Deloche on the outside and picking up the first down.
For a moment there, I thought he had too much Johnny Walker. Sellers on the money. This is Campbell into Missouri territory and down the sideline. Knocked out of bounds at the 1. Dale Von Campbell with his first catch of the game following Hunt's first catch. And there's an injured player for South Carolina. It's Brady Hunt. He step out of bounds, came at the 7, it looked like. They're going to take a long look at Hunt. The ball will be spotted back at the 7.
And just Campbell's 5th reception on the year. The transfer from Nevada, big body kid. Not someone they usually designed to get touches, but great throw and catch from Campbell. Boy, when South Carolina needed something, huh?
Well, and we'd shown you the struggles in the second half for South Carolina offensively, and Missouri bottling up Rocket Sanders. Mentioned that's Brady Hunt being tended to by the Gamecocks athletic training staff. He was down the field to try an extra block in on Campbell's 53-yard catch and run. We have a way of finding the chaos, don't we?
Yeah, we usually have some pretty boring fourth quarters, you know.
The junior from Muncie, Indiana, will head back to the Carolina sideline. This is Delvon Campbell, though, on the first down.
Yeah, it's just going to be a little stop route to the boundary. Deloche the corner and bail technique. And a great job by coming back to the ball. When you come back to the ball like that, you create an angle on the DB that's trying to close on you. Just a really good job by Campbell, as I mentioned, with just his 5th reception on the year. Nothing bigger than that.
These teams have played some thrillers. And it feels like no lead is safe between Missouri and South Carolina. Connor Shaw proved that. Brad Smith proved that. On 1st and goal, option. Sellers keeps it. Jalen Brown with the stop for Missouri. Lenore Sellers takes it to the 5.
That's a smart decision there by Sellers to not try to pitch that late. That's when bad things happen in the option game. And this is where maybe they go back to Sellers running the football, right? You mentioned it. Rocket Sanders has been kind of stymied in this second half. But the quarterback runs have been really good.
Sanders 19 carries, 53 yards. Here's a quarterback. Oh, wants to throw to the back of the end zone and caught. Touchdown, South Carolina. It's a 5-yard strike to Michael Smith. And 3 receivers who hadn't touched the ball all night each come up with big catches on this drive. Carolina's going to go for 2. First touchdown of the career for the freshman out of Savannah, Georgia, Michael Smith. Let's go for Dos. Brought to you by Dos Equis. To make it a 7-point lead. Sellers checks back to his left. Wide open. Catch by Jared Brown and a flag down. Hat is also down. It seems like Brown was the first man to touch it after going out of the back of the end zone. Question will be if the flag was used just to spot it in addition to the hat, or if he was forced out due to pass interference.
Illegal touching on the offense number 14. He went out of bounds on his own return. It was the first to touch the pass. That is a loss of down. Therefore, by rule, the try is no good.
It is a game of inches.
Yeah, Lenore Sellers was actually looking towards Michael Smith, his tight end again. He falls down in the end zone, so goes back to his second option in the back of the end zone here. As you see Jared Brown just stepping out of bounds. First one to touch it coming back in. But it was
the left foot that cost him.
And it was the touchdown here. If I was thinking quarterback run, you know Missouri was as well. And a big answer from South Carolina to get back on top.
Bumping tonight, and for good reason. These fans have had a lot to cheer about in this back and forth game, trying to snap a 5-game losing streak to the Tigers of Missouri. They even come in costume. Marquise Johnson from the 5. Marquise Johnson's got the sideline. And the kicker takes him down at the 34. This has been a series of comebacks when these teams met in the Independence Bowl in 05. Missouri trailed 21-0 before Brad Smith notched the comeback. And in 2013, Connor Shaw entered with a 17-0 fourth quarter deficit in Columbia, the other one at Faurot Field. And South Carolina knocked off number 5 Mizzou in double overtime. So this series has its history. Noel behind Cook. Noel, huge hole. Gain of 6 on first down.
And it's just been a different South Carolina defensive front in this second half. Like, Missouri is having their way on the ground. Big holes, big push up front.
Noel's got 131 yards. They're going to add to it. And he will. First down run. The former Mountaineer from Appalachian State.
Remember, we talked to Clayton White, South Carolina defensive coordinator, about that stretch play that we've seen the last 2 plays, and he said, you got to spike it. You have to play it north and south, set a hard edge, force it to bounce earlier than they wanted to. It feels like this Carolina defensive line has been playing it a little more east and west tonight.
Trying to do the same here, and the cutback allows for a big gain.
I mean, Mimbo's just steering guys like he's playing.
Yeah, Cole, you mentioned it. Well, watch all these bodies moving lateral and getting past. Watch all these bodies moving here, and that's when Noel is able to just cut it up. No one getting vertical penetration, overrunning the ball, and that outside zone's hitting right now.
It's a 6-yard gain on first down for Mizzou. Noel. First down run again. Demetrius Knight has had a busy evening for South Carolina, but the Tigers repeatedly getting deep into the next level of the South Carolina defense.
This is exactly what Missouri wants. Get the run game going. Eat some clock here. A score takes the lead. A touchdown, that is. Methodical is not bad in this situation.
Tigers have 2 timeouts. That one bottled up for the first time. Gain of only 1.
Well, I tell you what, we have an absolute battle. Probably better than Paul Tyson last night going on the right side of this Missouri offensive line. Armand Mimbu, Dylan Stewart, they have been going toe-to-toe, throwing heavy blows almost each play for the last 4 or 5 snaps.
Cook able to find Burden, who gets stuck by the first man. That's Nick Emil-Worry, who's been all over Burden tonight.
And South Carolina's leading tackler was possibly the biggest tackle of the night here, bringing down Luther Burden in space to force this third down.
Missouri just 1 of 8 on third down. That'll take us to the 2-minute timeout.
2-minute timeout.
Obviously 4-down territory for the Tigers, down 5 with 2 minutes of play in regulation. Beamer, Drinkwitz, Mizzou, South Carolina, final 2 to play. They're feeling it here in South Carolina. Gamecocks with 2 minutes to go in regulation, clinging to a 5-point lead. Missouri looking at third and medium.
Well, the way they've been running the football, might hand it off twice here if you need to pick up this first down. No Luther Burden on the field either.
He was in the medical tent a moment ago after his last catch. Cook turned the wrong way. A busted play for Missouri, and he gets folded up and loses yardage. Cook and Noel not on the same page.
Yeah, Nate Noel goes the wrong way here. Not sure if Brady Cook changed the play at the line of scrimmage, but watch the blocking. Watch the push right here. If Nate Noel goes this way, it's a first down. There's nobody there.
Burden is on the field for Missouri. 4th down, game on the line. Pressure up the middle. Cook lobs it. It is Cole. It's Luther Burden. Touchdown, Tigers. That ends a 5-game touchdown-less streak for Burden. Tied for the longest in his career, and he comes up money in the clutch with 1:10 to play.
Just like lockout.
Unbelievable from Luther Burden. He was out on the big third down, able to come back in on fourth down. And that is a low percentage decision. But you got your quarterback back, who's 17-4 over the last 2 years. He's a winner and goes to his #1 target over that span.
Missouri will try to go for 2. Opponents have yet to complete a 2-point conversion against South Carolina this year. They are 0 for 5. Another lead with under 2 minutes to go for this Missouri team. Cardiac Cats. Jamal Roberts is the running back. High snap. Roberts fakes a handoff, takes it himself, and he's in. Direct snap to the freshman Jamal Roberts, and Missouri's got a 3-point lead with 1:10 to play.
Well, on that third down, Nate Noel went the wrong way on what could have been an easy pickup, which forced the big fourth down play, but Nate Noel gets redemption. Watch this block right before Brady Cook is going to release the football. Right there on TJ Sanders. If Sanders takes one more step towards Brady Cook, maybe that causes an errant pass or it not to be as accurate. It was a low margin for error down the sideline, and it is put right on the money. It's a great job by Luther Burden to track that ball in tight coverage.
Eli Drinkwitz said the signing of Luther Burden a few years ago when they flipped him from Oklahoma gave this program hope. What a fantastic catch. And now Cook and Burden, a couple of St. Louis natives, hook up to push Missouri back in front.
And that was a one-handed snag by Burden, too. That was filthy.
He came out of the tent with the glove off of his right hand, put it back on as he was going out. Obviously didn't need it for that touchdown.
Well, grabbed it with the left. Well, Burden tonight, Weiss last week, 2 incredible catches to spark comebacks. Chance for a return. Juju McDowell, they're going to reverse it. And a chance for Nick Harbor to show his speed. Taken down at the 31-yard line. 62 seconds left on the clock. South Carolina has got inconsistent kicking from Alex Herrera, who's missed 5 field goals of the season, as long as 46.
And we've talked all night about the development of Lenore Sellers as a passer from the pocket. Been a little up and down tonight. Started really fast at the beginning of this game. Had the interception on an errant throw. Possibly the biggest moment of his young career here, with a chance to keep South Carolina alive in their playoff hopes.
Sellers stands tall, now has to move. And he lobs it down the sideline, trying to find Nick Harbor. Zion Young was giving chase. Gamecocks have all 3 timeouts.
We've seen so much good come from screens and getting Rocket Sanders out in the flats in space as a receiver. He's been so dynamic.
Harbor at the top of the formation. Guarded by Pride. Sellers never looks that way. Comes near side. Catch made by Jared Brown. Taken down inbounds. It's a first down. Clock will stop for a moment. Remember, Nick Harbor had that huge catch late in the game against Alabama on a last-ditch effort. Sellers knocked away, incomplete.
This is where you're trying to work the sideline. Remember that 2-minute drill that they put together to close the first half. A lot of high-low flood combinations to the sideline. Just a hair late on that throw. Need to get out a half-second earlier.
Campbell in motion. Had a huge one on that last drive. Sellers weaves through traffic and completes it. And Delvon Campbell, another big catch. for the Nevada transfer. This one goes for 37. And they slide their way into field goal range.
And what a great job by Lenora Sellers to keep his eyes downfield. As a young athletic quarterback, a lot of times when it breaks down, you start to use your feet. You're thinking run, run, run. But he keeps his eyes up downfield.
Missouri uses a timeout.
Timeout, Missouri. This is their second charge timeout of the half.
Tigers trying to catch their
This
breath.
will be a 30-second timeout.
27 seconds left in regulation.
Well, he's been so dangerous outside the pocket. Watch how good this is as he steps up and things break down. Keeps his eyes downfield. And finds Campbell. Like you said, on another huge play from the transfer that came into this game with only 4 receptions on the year.
Offensive coordinator Dow Loggins was telling us a story that he's been really hard on Lenore Sellers. Last year he used to kick him out of practice. So hard on him that his grandma said, "Isn't my son good enough?" And a couple of games ago he said, "No, not yet, but we're getting there. He's really close." And you can tell that time the redshirt freshman unflush in the pocket. He's not panicking.
And here's where it's important with a young quarterback that in that timeout you talk to him about where you're at on the field. You're in field goal range here. A field goal ties this up. Do not force the ball. If it's not there, throw it away. Don't take a sack. Play smart football right here.
Sellers, QB draw. And he takes it inside the 15. And that'll be a timeout taken by South Carolina.
Timeout, South Carolina.
Well, Alex Herrera has had the chance to be the hero a couple of times this year. In big games and in big moments. But in the losses to both Alabama and LSU, Herrera missed opportunities. From 49 against LSU, from 51 against Alabama. What would have been difference-making field goals in the fourth quarter. This would have tied the game against LSU, and it looked good until it wasn't. And this was for the lead against Alabama. A push, he never had it.
That's why I'm not so sure if I'm Dow Loggins that I don't like the idea of taking a shot into the end zone to Nick Harbor. At some point here, you got maybe 4 plays, depending. Harbor right there, your big target, has made some big plays downfield.
Got a small defender on him. Shovel pass, Sanders. Rocket Sanders dances to the 5, and he punishes his way into the end zone. South Carolina back in front. The building is literally shaking. Does Cook have one more in him? Took Carolina only 55 seconds to get downfield. And Rocket Sanders hits the booster at just the right time.
I did say it to start the drive. Get the ball in Rocket Sanders' hands in space as a receiver. Little shovel pass there, so it'll go down as a reception in the biggest one of his South Carolina career.
Herrera, point after. It's a 4-point lead with 15 seconds to play.
Watch the double team block by right tackle Kaysen Henry and left guard Kamar Bell. Possibly Missouri's best defender up front, Christian Williams. You're going to get a down block here, and then Bell's going to come around, and this double team really creates the space for Rocket Sanders. Look at his double team, pushing Williams all the way back, and then it's just all Rocket Sanders breaking 1, 2, 3, 4 tackles, 230-pound bowling ball into the end zone.
Once he got that space and started to get downhill, you could just tell he wasn't going to be denied.
Yep.
Felt like an earthquake when he got in there. We have had 5 lead changes tonight and hung heads on the Missouri sideline. Brady Cook will have another chance. No return for the Tigers. What does Brady Cook want to do with 15 seconds and 1 timeout?
Well, you don't really have a play to get you all the way downfield. You need a touchdown. You want to try to get a chunk play down the middle of the field, try to pick up 20, 25 yards, get a guy in space, call a timeout, and give yourself an opportunity, like we saw at the end of the first half, to huck one up into the end zone for a Hail Mary. But you probably need at least 20 yards or so to give Brady Cook the opportunity to make that throw.
Burton, bottom of the screen. 3 safeties deep for South Carolina. Middle of the field wide open. Cook, head, taken down. Kyle Kennard with the sack. And Mizzou has to use a timeout with 9 seconds left.
Where's this defensive line in the second half? They've been getting pushed around the run game, but Kyle Kennard shows up big in one of the biggest moments.
South Carolina 3rd in the country in sacks, just their 2nd of the night, but the timing, as you mentioned, perfect for Kennard.
Yeah, it's Kennard working on left tackle Marcus Bryant. Just the redirect, retracing as Brady Cook steps up in the pocket. Great job keeping vision on the quarterback.
All right, 9 seconds left. You have time if you're Missouri. Do you want to run a quick out, get a little bit of breathing room?
You would like to, but, and they're going to give you that. You see at the top of the screen here, they're going to give you about 15, 20 yards in cushion. But really, 5 or 10 yards doesn't help you. The last play is going to be a toss it around hot potato. See if you can keep it alive and hope for a miracle.
It's Weiss at the top. Likely be the last play. It's intercepted. Overthrown, and a South Carolina takeaway. Jalen Kilgore. And what a finish for the Cocks. What a 4th quarter for South Carolina. Go-ahead score with 15 seconds left after the impressive drive. And now Kilgore.
The ruling on the field is an interception.
Missouri was trying to just get the ball completed, then to start passing it around. Kilgore makes a break on the ball. They're going to give it a look to see if he secured this or if the ground aided at all in this interception. It's close. It's about the 3rd one we've had tonight where it's a toss-up to me. I mean, does the ball hit the ground? Yes. Does his left hand secure it?
If it's deemed incomplete, Missouri would have 4 seconds on the clock.
Right hand under it, but it's really the left hand. I think that might be incomplete.
And remember, it can hit the ground.
Yes.
And still be completed as long as it was controlled.
The right hand initially was under, but kind of slipped to the back of the ball. That left hand had it pinned to his chest, but the ground, I think, might have aided a little bit in that catch. But it's been a toss-up tonight as far as these catch, no catch. Here we go.
Big.
After review, the ruling on the field of interception stand. 1st down, South Carolina.
Well, Son Hunter won his flag football game this morning. He's next to Shane, and now he can celebrate the end of a 5-game losing streak to Missouri, and South Carolina finally pulls one out late. Brady Cook did all he could in his comeback from injury, but Cocky and the Carolina fans are going to dance deep into the 5 points night.
And how about Lenoris Sellers and this passing attack? Coming into this game, Shane Beamer and everybody told us they got to be able to run the football. We got to win the physicality battle. They ran the football okay. They threw for 353 yards on a Missouri defense that is top 10 in the country against the pass. That was impressive from Lenoris Sellers, Dow Loggins, and this South Carolina offense.
Victory formation for Lenoris Sellers. South Carolina riding a 4-game conference win streak. And the Gamecocks going to the final turn of their season at 7-3. What a wild finish. Lenoris Sellers threw 3 touchdowns in the first half, and South Carolina had to come from behind after the Tigers erased a 15-point deficit. You know, sometimes we try to make up rivalries, and we try to make up when new teams come into a league. The two teams really mean a lot to each other. This one has happened organically. Every game seems to be a thriller, and the Mayor's Cup and the Battle of the Columbias will belong to the Gamecocks. Shane Beamer's been celebrating. What a fantastic win for his program. 34-30 is the final. Cole is down on the field with the victorious head coach.
Coach, you said you needed your pass rush to show up. When I talked to you after halftime, felt like that.
We needed them. That's a really good team we just beat. That's a hell of an offensive line. And we were having a hard time generating pass rush, but if we can get them in those situations where they got to throw, I like our chances. But what about the fight of this team? Like, we use the word around here, fireproof. That nothing bothers us. We're fireproof to everything. And to give up a touchdown and the offense to come right back down the field, and guys that hadn't even been playing a lot, making the plays of the night, whether it be Brady Hunt, Dale Vaughn Campbell. I mean, I love this team, Cole. I mean, I'm so freaking blessed to coach them, and just so happy for them.
Whether it was over here on the sideline, it didn't feel like anybody got down. Whether it's been down in games, whether it's losing a couple of games early in the season, why has your team been able to keep that resolve?
We got great leadership. They're great kids, young men first and foremost. They love one another. They believe in one another. You don't hear about that a lot now. People talk about it. It's real here. We got culture here, and you saw the way that our guys believe in one another and continue to fight for one another as well. And I'm so happy for them.
You told me before the game that Hunter had a flag football game this morning, and there was a play fake where the quarterback kind of ducked down at the goal line. You ran 2 of those today.
Yep.
Proper scouting might have let you know what was going to happen on the goal line, right?
Yeah, the one down there was close, but the one that Lenoris threw to Mike Smith, that was the same play. So Lenoris gave us they gave us a great idea in his flag football game this morning, but credit to our offensive staff, our whole coaching staff. But, you know, that's a really good defense, and we put some plays in this week to be able to attack them in the red zone, and we scored on both of them.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
There you go, Tom. Word to all the coaches around the SEC. Scout their kids' flag football games.
It turns into a 4-game SEC win streak for Lenoris Sellers and South Carolina. What a thriller here at Williams-Brice Stadium. For Cole Kublik, Jordan Rogers, our fantastic crew, I'm Tom Hart. More SEC football coming your way. Let's get you to College Station, Texas. Texas A&M against New Mexico State. Here to lead the way, Dave Neal. Have a good night, everybody.